Fans, we kindly ask that you rise and remove your caps.
And hello and welcome on InlandValleyBaseball.com to this non-league matchup. It's actually a tournament on the campus of UC Santa Barbara. The Santa Barbara Foresters, the two-time defending NBC World Series champions, are hosting this tournament, and that is who Inland Valley has drawn here today for the first of three. This will be a 4 o'clock start time as we are just about getting set for opening pitch. And speaking of the opening pitch, on your stream you can see live, we can see the whole field today, so I'm sure that's going to be a very welcome thing for everybody watching at home. Well, we're very happy to bring this to you as the Pirates made the trip up north, fresh off a doubleheader sweep of Team San Diego yesterday. And in that doubleheader sweep, it wasn't easy, but surely at the end of the day, the Pirates finished with 2 wins, and that's all you can ask for as they won both games in the bottom of the 7th inning. And in fact, in both of those games in the bottom of the 7th inning, the Pirates, well, one of them was actually a walk-off because the second game was agreed upon beforehand to be a 7-inning game. So in that game, they walked off with an RBI sacrifice fly by Johnny Reynoso. And then the previous game, they won as well with the error by Team San Diego in the bottom of the 7th inning. First pitch inside, ball 1. 1-0 the count here to Jeff Nelson. We are underway. Starting hurler on the mound for the Santa Barbara Foresters is Willie Amador. Starting lineup for the Pirates is as follows. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 2, 2-0 the count. Jeff Nellis leading off at short. Channing Varela batting second at second. Nick Costello and Justin Gomez are the next 2 hitters, followed by Johnny Reynoso, Jake Thumb, Nick Marshall, and the final 2 of Nolan Henley and Tyler Urbach. Here's the pitch from Amador. High, towering fly ball, shallow center field, and it's in that area we talk about as a Bermuda Triangle, although it was hanging so high and so long that it didn't really matter. And the center fielder Chandler calls off the rest of the herd, and the Foresters get the first out here in the top of the first inning. Left to right across the outfield, you've got Nelly, Chandler, and Kaplan. Left to right across the infield is Greer, Holland, Boswell, and Conyers. Montalbano is the catcher for the Santa Barbara Foresters. Here's Willie Amador. He delivers. Ground ball up the middle, and that might get through. Yes, it does, and that is a base hit for Channing Varela. So just like that, Channing Varela sends one right back from where it came from, up the middle, on the very first pitch he sees here at UC Santa Barbara. So the Pirates are in business in the top of the first inning as Varela gets on board with the single up the middle. And here comes Nick Costello. Nick Costello just in his 4th game of the season, but in those 3 games previously has swung a very good bat with a .400 batting average and 3 runs scored, playing for Pepperdine University. And Costello is a guy who has had a very good career even before Pepperdine University. He'll be a sophomore next year and hit .264 for them this past season. But you look at the 6'1", 185-pound right-handed hitter. He was a member of a really good underclassmen team in high school. Here's the pitch. In fact, so good that they won the national championship in 2011, and his club team was called the ABD Bulldogs, and they won the perfect game underclassmen national championship in 2011. Amador set. This one lifted, and this will be on the edge of the infield dirt and the outfield grass, and nobody's calling for it. Channing Varela is going to dig in the second, and that'll go down as a bloop single for Costello, as the Santa Barbara Foresters miscommunicating there, and the Pirates have 2 men on board here in the top of the first inning. Dave Soberi on the play-by-play. So glad you've joined us for this epic tournament, as we're calling it, because this is really going to be a chance to see exactly how the Pirates stack up against some of the best competition really throughout the nation between the Santa Barbara Foresters and the Canandaigua Oaks, and finally South Bay Saints over this 3-day stretch. The other 2 games will be played at noon. This one here at 4 because it's the Santa Barbara Foresters who are the host. Way outside, ball 1 to Justin Gomez, the cleanup hitter. Channing Varela standing on second. On first, you have Nick Costello, and at the plate, Gomez. Gomez has been on fire, hitting .373 this season. Swings at this one and fouls it back at the screen. 1-1 the count to Justin Gomez. Well, Justin Gomez, you talk about the fact that really he has been a steady person in this lineup all season long, and time again he comes through with the big hits. Gomez, 6'0", 185-pound left-handed hitter, headed to Azusa Pacific, hometown of Laverne, and went to Bonita High School, a very storied high school baseball program in the Inland Empire. As you're aware, many of our players, their hometowns are for the most part in the Inland Empire, although some of them obviously going to out-of-state colleges. Here's taking his time now is Amador, and Gomez will call for time. As we mentioned, Amador taking some time and a little bit of a jam here in the first inning as the Pirates have their first 2 runners on base and are looking to do damage and looking to raise a few eyebrows here in this tournament, as it didn't seem like they were getting much respect from just the word on the street as I was walking through the park. And this one's way outside for a ball. So Amador with a little bit of a shaky start here for the Santa Barbara Foresters. So far this season, though, has been very good. 17 innings pitched, just a 2.65 ERA, a 1.00 whip, and 11 strikeouts in those 17 innings for the Santa Barbara Foresters. Amador comes set, checks the runner at second, and nods his head in approval a couple times, and now finally throws to the plate as we talk about deliberate pitchers. And this pitcher is certainly that, as the pitch missed low and in for a ball to Gomez. So 3-1 the count. 3-1 the count. It's going to be a hitter's pitch to come here to Gomez. And so Gomez sitting dead red on fastball maybe here against Amador. This is a big moment for the Pirates to try to jump out to a lead in the first inning. Swing and a miss. Strike 2, blown by Gomez. And so it'll be a full count here. Now it will be a payoff pitch with 2 men on and 1 out in the top of the first inning. Well, as you can see, well, really you can see the whole field today, so I'm sure that's a welcome surprise and for everybody watching at home, but some nice scenery as well. Here's the pitch. Full count, swung on and missed. Down goes Gomez, strike 3. So that'll be the second out here in the top of the first inning. Here's Johnny Reynoso. Johnny Reynoso just hitting .228 this season, but you look at a couple of things. First of all, you look at the on-base percentage, and it's 120 points higher at 347. And secondly, you look at the fact that he's come through in timely situations. Late kicking the pitch. Fastball way outside again. Ball 1-0 count to Reynoso. In fact, Johnny Reynoso had a couple of sac flies, both of which got Pirates the win this season. One against the Buccaneers, which was actually a 2-run sac fly. Yes, a 2-run sac fly. And then just yesterday, a game-winning sacrifice fly to defeat Team San Diego in the final inning. Line drive, right field, coming in to make the attempt and make the grab is Kaplan, as it looked like for a second that Reynoso might have been able to get a hit and it might have been able to bounce in front of Kaplan, but Kaplan making the play, chasing in about 20 feet. And so the Pirates threaten here in the top of the first inning, get 2 men on base, but can't come up with anything. And we'll head to the bottom of the first when we return on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
You're never going out of style. Ooh, pretty baby, this world might have gone crazy. The way you see me, who could blame me when I just wanna make you smile? I wanna throw you like Michael, I wanna kiss you like Prince. Let's get it on like Marvin Gaye, like Hathaway. Write a song for you like this. You're over my head, I'm out of my mind, thinking I was born in the wrong time. One of a kind, living in a world gone plastic. Baby, you're so classic. Baby, you're so classic. Baby, you're so classic. All a dozen roses, anything for you to notice. All the way to serenade you, doing it's not your style. I'ma pick you up in a Cadillac like a gentleman, bring it glamour back, keep it real to real in the way I feel. I could walk you down the aisle. I wanna do you like Michael, I wanna kiss you like Prince. Let's get it on like Marvin Gaye, like Hathaway. Write a song for you like this. You're over my head, I'm out of my mind, thinking I was born in the wrong time. It's like I rewind, everything is so
And welcome back as we head to the home half of the first inning. As Brett Early steps on the mound, he'll be the starter here today for the Inland Valley Pirates. Meanwhile, this is the lineup that the Santa Barbara Foresters will send up there. John Holland is the leadoff hitter, who swings and lifts this one to right center field, and that's going deep in right center field. And that's going to drop on the warning track. And it's going to be a triple here for the Santa Barbara Foresters to lead things off. So, high towering flying ball, but in the gap. And just like that, there's a man on third base for the Foresters. And they're just 90 feet away from taking the lead here in the bottom of the first inning. After the Pirates threatened with a couple hits in the first inning and had 2 men on and 1 out. So, Holland with the triple. Here's Greer, then it's Studdard, Montalbano, Kaplan, Nesloni, Conyers, Boswell, and Chandler. That's the lineup for the Santa Barbara Foresters. We'll give you the defense behind Brett Early after this next pitch. First pitch misses low and in. Ball 1. 1-0 the count to David Greer. Left to right across the outfield, Reynoso, Hanley, Thumb. Left to right across the infield, Costello, Nellis, Varela, Gomez, and behind the plate is Marshall. Here's the pitch. Fastball strike 1, 1-1 the count. So Brett Early towing the rubber, 6'2", 205, right-handed pitcher from the University of Laverne, where he will be a senior next season. Here's the pitch. Call. Oh, just misses off the plate outside for ball 2, 2-1 the count. Well, among other things, Early is a 3-year Pirate. So that's done a couple things. And when you look at his stats, obviously, he's pretty much torn it up every year in the strikeout category. High and tight, ball 3, 3-1 the count. In fact, he's done so much to the fact that he actually is the all-time leader in the history of Inland Valley baseball with strikeouts, entering the season with 62. Called strike 2, 3-2 the count. And he comes in today with 28 strikeouts this season. So 90 now in total for his entire 3-year career for the Pirates. Really way out in front of anybody who's second. And right on cue, called strike 3 on the outside corner. And so that'll be the 29th strikeout victim of the season for Brett Early. And really, you look at the 29 strikeout victims, and that's just in 25 innings of work. So more than one strikeout per inning pitched this season for Brett Early, who has been very, very good in that category. And just about every category, here's the pitch. Called strike 1, 0-1 the count to Granger Stutter, the DH. Well, you look at that and you talk about the fact that you look at the 2.92 ERA. And first of all, that's a good ERA, especially when you're facing the competition that the Pirates face. But here's the pitch. Ground ball, easy ground ball over to the second baseman. Varela looking at home at first and then decided to head to first over there with the throw. So Holland scores on the RBI ground out to Varela. As it looked like for a second, Holland wasn't sure exactly what he wanted to do. Kind of paused down the third base line. And Varela was looking home, but I guess thought better of it and thought, we'll just concede the run here and make sure that we get the given out at first base because it's still just the bottom of the first inning. So they'll give up and concede that run there, and it's 1-0 here for the Foresters. First pitch, misses high and in, ball 1. 1-0 the count to Jeremy Montalbano. Well, as we were talking about, the 2.92 ERA for Early is really good. Swing and a miss, strike 1, 1-1 the count. But really, it could be even better because there was one game this season where really he shut down the OC Riptide for 8 innings. And then if you recall, in the 9th inning, he came back out and ended up giving up 3 runs. But it was just kind of weird how it all went about. If you think about what happened, it was, first of all, he was just in cruise control, up 4-2. And secondly, so he allows a walk and a hit. So you can kind of handle that. You can take that. And then on a sacrifice bunt attempt, he tried throwing it to the third and then realized that he wouldn't be able to make the play. So then he went to first, and at the last moment, the runner beat it out. So there were bases loaded, and then he ended up getting yanked out after that. And so, like, what it was interesting was the fact that the next 3 runners who were charged to him, none of them even put the ball in play, as 2 were hit by pitches and 1 was walked in. So you look at those 3 runs, and those might not have been on the board for Early as he hits the batter in the left arm. So Montalbano will head down to first base. So just, you know, we're talking about the fact that the ERA is good already and could have been even better entering the day. And here's the number 5 hitter in the lineup, Lex Kaplan. Kaplan hitting .365 this season for the Santa Barbara Foresters. Brett Early trying to make sure that he only gives up 1 here in the home half of the first inning. John Holland led it off with a triple and then scored on the RBI groundout by Granger Stutter. High fly ball, straightaway center field, ranging about 4 or 5 feet to his left, is Nolan Henley to make the grab. So that'll do it for the home half of the first, and the Foresters grab a 1-0 lead on the RBI groundout by Stutter. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Lately, I've been losing sleep, dreaming about the things that we could be. But baby, I've been praying hard. Said no more counting dollars, we'll be counting stars. Yeah, we'll be counting stars. Swing my heart across the line. In my face is flashing signs. Seek it out and ye shall find. Old, but I'm not that old. Young, but I'm not that bold. And I don't think the world is sold. feel alive. Yeah, I've been losing sleep, dreaming about the
And welcome back as we head to the top of the second inning. Pirates threatening in the first inning as they had 2 hits with 1 out, but can't score a run. And then meanwhile, the Foresters leading off with a triple in the bottom half of the first, ended up scoring on an RBI ground out by Studdard, so they take a 1-0 lead. First pitch to Jake Thumb, low and away, ball 1. 1-0 the count to Jake Thumb. Jake Thumb from Orange Coast College, 6'1", 180. Takes this one off the plate, 2-0. So Thumb quickly ahead on the count here against Willie Amador, the starting hurler for the Foresters. This past season, Thumb didn't play as he was ineligible at Orange Coast. Here's the pitch. High towering fly ball, straight away left field, ranging about 5 or 6 feet over to his left is the left fielder, Nesloni, who makes the catch for the first out. So 3 in a row retired here now by Amador after allowing the 2 consecutive hits in the previous inning. And here's Nick Marshall. Nick Marshall, senior to be at Texas Tech, and really we've chronicled the story of Nick Marshall, but it tells you really how much he thinks about Texas Tech and how much he really wanted to go there. As after high school, he committed to Texas Tech originally. And this one's low and away, ball 1, 1-0 the count. And so he originally committed, but actually had to sit out for 14 months with an injury. And once he did that, and after doing that, ended up losing his scholarship, so he had to go the junior college route and went to a couple different junior colleges as a freshman and a sophomore. Takes low and away for ball 2, 2-0 the count. Went to Golden West as a freshman and then Panola College as a sophomore. And after playing at Panola, ended up getting back to Texas Tech as a junior last season. Shattered bat as this one is grounded over to the hot corner. The third baseman, Greer, has it. And retires Marshall, throwing across the diamond for the second out here and the top of the second inning. So Marshall, I guess you'd say, living his dream. Ultimately, even though he thought it would be a little bit earlier, but not exactly living his dream here, as he's going to have to pay for a new bat, as that bat is shattered in half, and also grounding out to the third baseman. And so he is, of course, 0 for 1 in this game. Here's Nolan Henley. Henley, a college teammate for the starting pitcher for the Inland Valley Pirates in this game, Brett Early. And Henley, a member of that team that went to the D3 baseball tournament. Did some damage, takes strike 1, 0-1 the count. Well, Henley's had a tough go about it this season so far, in the sense that with the bat, just a 185 batting average. Swing and a miss. Strike 2, 0-2 the count. Swinging out of his shoes was Henley at that one. Well, Nolan Henley is a 3-year Pirate, and one of the guys that you kind of look at with that blue-collar mentality, setting up on the outside as a catcher, but it actually comes inside and it's chopped foul, and it'll remain 0-2 to Nolan Henley. Really the blue-collar mentality that this team had the first 2 seasons. Obviously now it's expanded a little bit in the sense that a lot more Division I players on this team this year, but I think Henley kind of represents more or less what the team was the previous 2 years. One hopper over, back at the third baseman again, and once again, third baseman Greer firing across the diamond and showing off that rocket arm to retire Nolan Henley here to end the top of the second inning. So 5 in a row set down by Amador, and at the end of 1.5, it remains a 1-0 game. Foresters on top of the Pirates. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. welcome back as we head to the home half of the second inning. Tyler Nesloni followed by Troy Conyers. Here in Brett Boswell due up for the Santa Barbara Foresters as Brett Early remains on the mound, the starting pitcher here today, who gets the call from Charlie Reynoso. Line drive right field, and that's going to be an extra base hit as that one hops the wall. And headed to second now is Tyler Nesloni with the stand-up double. So once again, for the second consecutive inning, it's a first-pitch fastball that the Santa Barbara Foresters absolutely rip into right field for an extra base hit. First inning, it was Holland who tripled to right center, and this time it's Nesloni who doubles right down the right field line, and both of them one-hopping the fence as well. Although this one was actually just kind of cranked and turned on down that right field line. The previous one, more of a fly ball, but obviously hit all the way to the fence. Pitch misses low and away for ball one to Troy Conyers, and it's 1-0. Well, down the lines here, 335, straightaway center 405. So, pretty big park at UC Santa Barbara. Swing and a miss, pulled the string, and it's 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike here for Brett Early with no outs in the bottom of the second inning, trailing by a score of 1-0. As we mentioned, the Pirates threatened in the first inning as they had 2 hits and 1 out, but couldn't score a run in that situation. Early checks the runner at second, no one holding him on. Comes to the plate and just misses upstairs for ball 2. 2-1 the count for Brett Early. Brett Early, as we mentioned, a third-year Pirate, and his hometown is Chino. Went to Don Lugo High School, where he was an all-CIF selection. As I'm sure a lot of you know, a lot of our players were all-CIF selections. Breaking pitch called strike 2. 2-2 the count. Well, you talk about Brett Early, and you talk about the movement on his pitches. And certainly, with his sliders, he certainly has a lot of movement, as a lot of the time, you'll see the ball start on the left side of the plate and work its way all the way to the right side. And you also see the drop as well. Fastball way outside, ball 3, full count. So payoff pitch to come here for Troy Conyers as Tyler Nesloni is standing on second base after leading off the inning with a line drive rocket down the right field line. This will be a big pitch here for Brett Early. Trying to settle down and just, get your first out here in the inning. Ground ball right side, one hopper over to Channing Varela. Varela fields cleanly and fires to Gomez for the first out. But situationally, it was a good job there by Troy Conyers because he grounds it to the right side of the infield and advances the runner 90 feet to third. And we talked about it, but when you're able to do that in that situation, get a man on second base and no outs, in that situation, you don't even need a hit to bring him in. If you can get a ground ball to the right side of the infield and then a fly ball to the outfield. First pitch, misses low for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Brett Boswell. So it's Boswell followed by Ryan Chandler. And then we go back to the top of the lineup for the Santa Barbara Foresters. Here's the pitch, low, ball 2, 2-0 the count. So Boswell, well, you look at all of the batting averages that are in the starting lineup, and Boswell sticks out for, I guess, the wrong reasons, as he's just at 133. But pretty much every other batter in this lineup is over 333 and takes this one inside and 3-0 the count. So I guess nobody told Brett Early that because he's now behind 3-0 here to a guy hitting 133 on the season. Late kick and pitch, fastball strike 1, 3-1 the count to Brett Early. Or for Brett Early. As we mentioned, Brett Early being an all-CIF selection when he was in high school back at Don Lugo. Among other things at Don Lugo, swing and a miss, pulled the string. And way out in front there was Brett Boswell. As a lot of the times, we've talked about it before, you're sitting dead right on a fastball on a 3-1 pitch, and Brett Early, he's a guy that likes to pitch backwards, which means that he sets his fastball up with breaking pitches. 3-2. Fastball inside and low for ball 4. So that'll be a full count walk drawn by Brett Boswell. And here comes Ryan Chandler.
Now batting center fielder, number 1.
So runners on the corners, 1 out. And Chandler at the plate here in the bottom of the second inning. 1-0 the score. Pirates trailing. As we mentioned, Brett Early at Don Lugo, among other things, was a 3-sport athlete. As a pitcher, I'm not sure exactly if you would guess what the other three sports were that he played. I mean, a lot of people would think that, or the other two sports, baseball being one of them, but a lot of people would think, football and baseball, that's a typical thing. And those are two mainstream sports. Of course, there's always the thing about the pitcher, and Charlie Reynoso, meanwhile, will head out to the pitcher, and Brett Early to try to settle him down after this fastball misses high for ball 1 another count. But there's a thing about a pitcher where you think, well, for the most part, they're more finesse players or something like that. Although when you look at Brett Early, you would probably disagree when you look at his 6'2", 205 frame. But still, he did play football and baseball. But the other sport he was a part of at Don Lugo, wrestling. So wrestling, baseball, and football, as he was very active, was number 75 for Don Lugo High School. Well, we saw it really, because this is a guy who we've seen in the SCCBL and on InlandValleyBaseball.com for 2 years and the SCCBL for 3 years overall. We've seen it in the past that when he is on, he is nasty, and he's really tough to face. But sometimes when he's not on, and as this one misses low for ball 2-0 the count, sometimes when he's not on, he kind of gets not necessarily down on himself, but he's just so intense out there. And so when he's so intense out there, he just, he's kind of all fired up and kind of maybe loses his frame of thought for a second as the pickoff throw over to first. Not in time there to retire Boswell, who slid back head first to the bag, which actually you could see on your stream. Typically not able to see that first base. Swan had fouled off the bat of Ryan Chandler. And it's 2-1. So 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Bottom of 2. 1-0. Foresters leading the Inland Valley Pirates. Foresters entering the day 20-3 overall. So they have been very, very good, to say the least, this season. Meanwhile, the Pirates 11-9-1. And for the Pirates, they are over 500 now, but still a disappointment, as 11-9-1 is not exactly what Charlie Reynoso thought the team would be here at this point in the season. But meanwhile, Charlie Reynoso still thinks that the lineup is starting to come together and guys are starting to hit the ball better. And he also has a couple of big bats returning next week in the form of Greg Espinosa and the biggest one, Andrew Alvarez. So those were 2 of the best players. In fact, 2 returning all-stars from last season who will rejoin the team next week. His pitch misses outside, ball 3, 3-1 the count. So 3 balls and 1 strike now here to the number 9 hitter in the lineup, Ryan Chandler. And as we mentioned, the previous hitter just batting 133. That's who Brett Early walked. And now here is the number 9 hitter in the lineup that you really want to try to retire. But fastball upstairs and really nowhere near the zone. So a 5-pitch walk drawn by Chandler. And now you've got the bases loaded with 1 out. Well, I guess you would say the positive way to look at this is the fact that you can make a force out anywhere and really also be able to turn 2. But, of course, the negative part is, well, walks. This is something that has been coming back to haunt the Pirates all season long. Just too many walks this season. And this one's nowhere near the zone either. Fastball way outside, ball 1. 1-0 the count to John Holland. Well, if nothing else, he just maybe didn't want to come with the fastball down the plate that he gave him the first time, as the left-handed hitter Holland cracked it to right center field for a triple. Holland's batting .422 on the season for the Foresters. Another one outside, ball 2. 2-0 the count. Well, we talk about it. You're a much different pitcher when you can get ahead of the count as opposed to when you're behind in the count. And so Brett Early now falling behind again. And he's going to have to come with something that's a strike here, or else it'll be 3-0 with the bases loaded. Foul back towards the screen, and just barely the screen keeping it in the field of play. Otherwise, it may have came dangerously close to our webcam that you were enjoying this game on. But it didn't. The screen just had enough there. As Brett Early, meanwhile, is trying to get out of a jam here with the bases loaded, 2-1 count. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. So Brett Early coming back with 2 strikes after initially falling behind 2-0. And those were a couple of very good pitches there from Brett Early to, as we mentioned, get this to a situation where now, I mean, still on a 2-2 pitch, you want to throw a strike, but don't necessarily have to throw a strike, and maybe you can get the hitter fishing. Here's the pitch. Line drive right field coming in to make the catch is Thumb. Thumb is going to fire home, cut off by Gomez, and the throw to the plate is not in time. So that'll be a sacrifice fly RBI here for John Holland, who's been a part of both runs scored today so far for the Foresters. And really, we talked about it, and Thumb is, well, I don't know if we talked about it in this broadcast, but I definitely noticed it when I saw the lineup. Thumb typically this season has been an infielder, so maybe not the guy that you wanted to try to come up with a throw there in right field in the sense to try to retire the hitter. Line drive, left center field, rounding third, and coming home to score is Brett Boswell, and it's 3-0 Foresters. So David Guerrero with an RBI single to left center field. Boswell scores. Chandler to second. And as we were beginning to talk about the fact that, basically just alluding the fact that, you know, when you're an infielder, typically an infielder to right field might not necessarily have the biggest arm to try to make the throw home. Although he was pretty deep out there in the outfield, probably more of a routine sac fly, but still just, you know, something that we noticed when the lineup was out there. Meanwhile, here comes Granger Studdard. Studdard has an RBI ground out back in the first inning, and here he is for his second plate appearance in the second inning. Takes strike one at the knees, 0-1 the count. I know Brett Early is a guy who really, I mean, as anyone should, takes pride in himself and takes pride in what he's able to do, and really just loves being out here for the summer season and loves to be able to test himself. This one misses away, ball one, 1-1 the count, but Jeff Nellis, the shortstop, was actually showing glove and wanted to try to pick off the runner at second as the runner was way off the bag, Ryan Chandler. But that could have been dangerous because Nellis wasn't home at short, so he was like up the middle there as this one is fouled off the bat, and then the ankle of the hitter Studdard, and so that'll be strike two, 1-2 the count. But Brett Early, definitely a guy who likes to test himself and likes to see where he stacks up, just as the Pirates like to see where they stack up against this top competition. But Early, as we mentioned, from the University of Laverne, not that playing in Division III is a bad thing or anything. Of course, still great baseball there. But just being able to see and face some of these guys who are D1 guys is, I'm sure, something that he likes to do. This one's alone away, ball two. So deuce is wild, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 2 men on base here for Granger Studdard, who's hitting .344 this season for the Santa Barbara Foresters. Here's the pitch. Just misses low, ball 3, full count for Brett Early. So Brett Early might be in some trouble here if he's not able to retire this batter, because Charlie Reynosa's already been out for 1 mound visit, and should he lose this batter, it would be another walk. A little flare out to right center field. Channing Varela can't get there, so it's going to be a bloop single, and a 4th run comes home to score here for the Foresters on the second RBI of the day for Granger Studdard. So Studdard just barely getting the barrel of the bat on that baseball and just barely lifting it over the head of the outstretched arm of Channing Varela, the second baseman. And so Pirates a little bit tough luck there on the bloop hit. And just like that, now it's 4-0 as the inning continues, and there's still 2 runners in scoring, or there's still 2 runners on base here for now the cleanup hitter Jeremy Montalbano. And this is the 8th hitter to come up here in this inning. And this pitch misses upstairs, ball 1. 1-0 the count to Montalbano. Montalbano was hit by a pitch in his previous plate appearance, so no official at bat yet in this game. Here's a pitch from Early. Just off the plate outside, ball 2, 2-0 the count. Well, for Brett Early, really, I don't think we've seen him this inconsistent in terms of being this wild in quite some time. Fastball up, ball 3, 3-0 the count. And for whatever reason, the wheels are just falling off the wagon right now for Brett Early. Maybe felt like he made a good pitch on that last one, and just so happened that it ended up being a blooper out of the reach of Varela. Here's the pitch. Line drive over to left field, and Johnny Reynoso will make the catch. As it's pretty much a routine fly ball down the left field line that Reynoso traveling about 20 feet to his right to make the grab, about 10 feet away from that foul line. But here in the second inning, some damage was done in the sense that 3 runs score, and it is now a 4-0 game at the end of 2. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Baby, you a song, you make me wanna roll my windows down and cruise. I got my windows down in the radio. Get your radio on. What up, Nelly? All right. I got my windows down in the radio. Get your radio on. Yeah, when I first saw that bikini top on her, she's popping right out of the South Georgia water. Oh, good Lord, she had the long tail legs, couldn't help myself, so I walked up and said, baby, you a song, you make me wanna roll my windows down and cruise down the back road, gonna stop sign for the middle, every little hometown with you in this brand new Chevy with a lift kit. Look a hell lot better with you up in there. Baby, you a song, you make me wanna roll my windows down and cruise. I got my windows down in the radio. Get your radio on. And she was sipping on Southern and singing Marshall Tucker. We were falling in love in your sweetheart of summer. She hopped right up into the cab of my truck and said, fire it up, let's go get this thing stuck. Baby, you a song, you make me wanna roll my.
And welcome back as we head to the top of the 3rd inning. And this is Nick Hernandez here. So Nick Hernandez batting for Tyler Urbach, as Urbach was in the initial lineup written out by Charlie Reynoso, but Hernandez maybe getting here a little bit late and then deciding to go with Hernandez over Urbach in that final, I guess, roster here, because Urbach didn't even get an at-bat in this game. Here's the pitch, and it misses low for a ball to Hernandez. So it's 1-1 here to Nick Hernandez. Pirates down 4-0. 1 scored in the first and 3 in the second. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. 1-2 the count here for Nick Hernandez. Well, Nick Hernandez, we've seen this season take a lot of big hacks, but also be able to come through with a lot of hits as well for the Pirates. 6'2", 200 left-handed hitter. Be a freshman at Cal Poly Pomona next season. Takes off the plate outside for a ball. 2-2 the count. Went to Charter Oak High School, where he was a first-team All-League performer, as well as a first-team All-Academic performer in the classroom. Fouls this one down the third base line, and will remain 2-2 here for Nick Hernandez, going against Willie Amador, the starting pitcher here for the Santa Barbara Foresters. Meanwhile, I believe he cracked the bat as it hit off the top of the bat, ended up breaking. So Dylan Stablein will take that under his advisement and maybe try to break it or snap it in the dugout, the first base dugout, which the Pirates are very familiar with because that is their typical home dugout at Cal Poly Pomona. And so most road teams will always be in that first base dugout as well. This one's lifted foul and out of play over towards the adjacent parking lot and connects with a Jeep out there, a black Jeep. Hey, this is something new for me as I'm high atop home plate, so now I can see when foul balls go over into the adjacent parking lots and make connections with cars. Line drive, deep center field, and that is going way back and making the unbelievable catch. Wow, that was amazing. That was like a Willie Mays type catch out there by the center fielder Chandler, who made the catch on the warning track. Nick Hernandez can only shake his head no in disgust as that ball was hit 395 feet to dead center. We mentioned earlier 405 to center field. An unbelievable catch over the shoulders, basically like a football receiver, just sprinting full throttle and making the catch over his head. Wow, what a play by the center fielder Chandler. And so Chandler makes the great catch. And now we go back to the top of the lineup. And Jeff Nellis, who has been on fire as of late. Sticks on the board, 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. And number 1 at bat for the Pirates. Meanwhile, the Pirates just hoping to get 1 run here at some point, although it's still the top of the 3rd inning. And really, when you look at it, the Pirates have a couple hits, and in fact threatened in the 1st inning with 2 men on and 1 out. And then Nick Hernandez just cracked that one, but happened to get run down by the center fielder. This is a towering fly ball to deep left field, about 5 feet away from the warning track. The left fielder, Nisloni, makes the catch. So what we're talking about now is the fact that even though these last 2 were outs, I mean, really good contact made by the Pirates. And, they are really, you'd still want to find out how you stack up. And granted, it's a 4-0 score, but you just don't feel like at this moment, that it should be that. I mean, there was a bloop hit for an RBI, and there's chances for the Pirates to come through, pulling a string, swing and a miss. Strike 1, 0-1 the count to Channing Varela. Channing Varela, hitting .353 this season, 9 runs scored, 7 RBIs, is 1 for 1 in this game. And singled on the first pitch he saw, which is a bit funny as this one misses inside, and it's 1-1. Also swung at the first pitch on this at bat as well, but kind of funny if you remember what happened yesterday, because yesterday his first 2 plate appearances saw 14 pitches and drew 2 walks. And here he is today swinging first pitch. Both times he appeared at the plate and coming through with a single the first time and swinging and missing here and his second plate appearance. 1-2 the count now with 2 outs here in the top of the 3rd inning. 4-0 the score. Ooh, high in sight as brushed back pitch. Varela had to get out of the way. Channing Varela, 5'9", 170, a member of the Orange Coast College state championship team this past season. And actually, Orange Coast College, the Pirates, they have won 2 in a row. Ground ball right back at the pitcher, and that's going to be the second hit of the day for Channing Varela as it ricochets off the pitcher's right leg and goes into left field for Channing Varela's second base hit. And we talk about Varela in the sense that he's a guy last season who really carried the load towards the end of the year, hitting-wise. And once again now, when the level of play is highest, that's when this guy plays his best. And so Varela, wearing number 2, has 2 hits here today and 2 at-bats. And here comes Nick Costello. Costello, 1 for 1 as well. Here's the pitch. Called a strike. Looked like it might have been low and away, but called a strike at the plate through Costello. Pepperdine University, sophomore to be. Channing Varela taking his lead off of first base. Coming set in the stretch is Hamador. Hamador will throw over to first, and the first baseman not even trying to tag him. That's Conyers, as it was nowhere near close to throwing out Channing Varela. Varela got dirty, though, slid in head first. Once again, as you can see that on your screen here today. So I'm sure you're going to enjoy these broadcasts for the next 3 days, because you'll be able to see the whole field. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. 0-2 the count as Costello, swinging out of his shoes a bit, took a big old hack at that one. But aggressive. That's how the Inland Valley Pirates have come out with the bats here in the 3rd inning after falling behind 4-0. So certainly not showing any semblance of quit yet. Still 7 at-bats to go. And it's 1-2, fastball upstairs. And we mentioned that the Pirates, this is a team that you look at really the roster and you look at how well they played last year. You feel like this is a team that, called strike 3 on the outside corner. There were a couple of strikes called in that at-bat that I don't think Costello really liked. And looked like they might have been low here from my standpoint. But Costello's going to have to live with it as he talks to his third base coach and manager, Charlie Reynoso, down that first base line. At the end of 2.5, it remains a 4-0 game. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back as we head to the home half of the third inning. Pirates trailing by a score of 4-0. And Pirates, even though they're trailing by 4-0, have put some good wood on it. First pitch, fastball, strike one. 0-1 the count here. As we get people crossing in front of your stream. Here's the pitch, upstairs for a ball. 1-1 the count. Brett Early remains on the mound working against Lex Kaplan. Kaplan's 0 for 1, flew out to center field. This one misses low for a ball. And it's 1-1. So Brett Early working on the windup. Here's the pitch. You mentioned how good he's been for the Pirates overall, being the all-time strikeout leader, but struggling a little bit today. And granted, you know that this is a two-time defending national champion, so you know they got a lot of talent. Line drive, right field, and foul. And so 3-2 now here as we see another broken bat, the third of the day, which is interesting because for the most part this season, really, we haven't been seeing that many broken bats, and we've already had 3 casualties in just 3 innings. So we're on pace for maybe 9 broken bats in this game, which, as we mentioned, it's been almost, I guess you'd say a pleasant surprise, because these are kids who, for the most part, will hit with BB core bats throughout their entire college season, so they're not used to the wood. Obviously a bit different to hit with wood as opposed to BB core. Foul back at the screen, and we'll do it again. Another payoff pitch to come here to Lex Kaplan. Lex Kaplan hitting .365 on the season for the host Santa Barbara Foresters, 6'2", 210. Sophomore at Tulane University cracks this one into deep right field, and that is a no-doubter as it clears the tree in right field. Home run for the Santa Barbara Foresters, and it's 5-0. And, wow, just like I called it, a no-doubter, as that was a line drive rocket that cleared that tree. If you can see it out there, I'm not sure if you can see it or not on your stream, but well over the head of Thumb. And that ball taking all about 2 or 3 seconds to clear the right field wall here at UC Santa Barbara. And it's 5-0 Foresters on top of the Pirates. Here's Tyler Nesloni. Nesloni is another guy who cracked one earlier, had the double down the right field line. And he's got a line drive in the left field right at Reynoso. And Reynoso will make the catch here for the first out of the bottom of the third inning. Well, if you look at it, and really, I've been noticing this and I haven't mentioned it yet, but for the most part, they're playing all the Foresters to pull. So even though that ball might have looked like it was in left center field, Reynoso was playing, as we mentioned, he was playing to pull, basically. So they were giving the whole line to the left-handed hitter, as they're doing again, this time to Troy Conyers. So, and you look at the right field, and Jake Thumb, as this one misses high and away, ball 1-1 the count. Look at Thumb. He's literally playing 5 feet away from the warning track and very, very close to the foul line. This one misses low for ball 2. 2-1 the count to Troy Conyers. So Troy Conyers at the dish now, hitting .250 on the season. Called strike 2. 2-2 the count. 6'5", 230 from the University of San Diego, junior to B. So very, very big frame. Takes this one low and away for ball 3. 3-2 the count. So it hasn't been easy so far for Brett Early, as really things I think that he would want to kind of fix or change. Ground ball right side, easy play for Varela. Varela fields it on the edge of the infield dirt and outfield grass and makes the throw over to first base for the second out here in the bottom of the third inning. Well, the thing that Brett Early would like to sort of maybe take back are the walks in this game. As we mentioned, not typically a guy who walks a lot, but in this game, 1 hit batter and 2 walks, and both walks ended up scoring runs in that second inning. So it's one thing if a guy gets the better of you, as the previous hitter Lex Kaplan to lead off this inning did and hit the home run. But it's another thing when you feel like you're sort of shooting yourself in the foot, foul over towards the first base dugout, and it's 0-2. And when you're doing that, I mean, when I say that, I'm talking about the walks that you allow. I mean, granted, walks will happen, but it's just, as we mentioned, it's a thing that's plaguing the Pirates all season long. So it's something that we obviously have our eye on for the most part. And then the other thing being the fact that really you can't afford to make those types of mistakes against teams like this because they always come back to haunt you. Ground ball right back at Varela again, and Varela on his horse makes the play. As the ball looked like it might have been, well, first of all, it was struck very hard, and it looked like it might have gotten through the 3-4 hole. But Varela making the play to first, and Pirates get out of the inning. But another run scores, as so far every single inning, the Santa Barbara Foresters have led off with an extra base hit. It was a triple in the first, a double in the second, and a home run in the third, and then all three of those guys coming home to score. So the new score is 5-0 at the end of 3. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. Welcome back as we head to the top of 4. 5-0 the score. Pirates trailing the host Santa Barbara Foresters of this Rawlings Cup tournament. First pitch misses off the plate, excuse me. For ball 1. 1-0 the count here to Justin Gomez. So Gomez, followed by Reynoso and Thumb. 4, 5, and 6 in the lineup is what is due up here for the Pirates in the top of the 4th inning. As we mentioned, first batter for Brett Early has been a tough one to record. And this one's lined into right field, and that's going to get over the head of the right fielder to deep right field. One hop in the wall. Gomez digging in for 2, and he's going to get in there for a stand-up double. So once again, and we're talking about it, the Pirates' bats have looked good. I mean, you look at the score, and you hear it's 5-0. But if you look at the hits column, it's 5-4. So in terms of just the hits, and really there were a couple of balls also that, I mean, you look at the line drive to dead center by Hernandez. So that was crushed. But, you know, it's those things where it's close, but no cigar, as they say. Here's the pitch. Fly ball, left field, right at his counterpart. That was Reynoso who lifted it to the other left fielder, Nesloni, for the first out here in the top of the 4th inning. But as we mentioned, Pirates, when you play a team at this caliber and you're coming through with hits pretty much every inning, I mean, so far they did get retired in order in the 2nd inning, but they had a couple hits in the 1st inning, 1 in the 3rd, and then 1 here in the 4th. It's not that this team has really been overpowering them in terms of Pirates offense. Just haven't been able to scratch and claw a run across yet. But if they continue to hit the ball like the way they've been hitting it, you would assume that at some point, some way, Pirates could be able to score a run here and there. Meanwhile, you have a runner in scoring position, and that's Gomez for Jake Thumb at the plate. Thumb's 0 for 1. Flew out to left field and trying to bunt for a hit. And fouls it over towards the on-deck batter, Nick Marshall. Well, a guy who we've seen go for the bunt hit sometimes this year is Jeff Nellis. And Jeff Nellis actually had a bunt hit yesterday. And maybe the funniest thing about the bunt hit was that here's a guy who had 3 hits previously and hits that really just cracked the ball, like we've seen some of the balls cracked today by Foresters. And then he just decides to lay one down for a hit with 2 men on. Ground ball, left side over to the shortstop, Holland. And down goes Thumb, as Holland will make the throw to first, and Gomez advances to third. So Gomez 90 feet away from scoring the first run of the day for the Pirates, but there are 2 outs, so obviously Foresters will trade that scenario anytime, especially when they have a 5-run lead. Here's Nick Marshall. And Nick Marshall, 5'11", 225. Just like the starting pitcher, swing and a miss. Strike actually is fouled, and it's 0-1. As Marshall will give some assistance and some help to his counterpart, the other catcher, Montalbano. And so Nick Marshall seems like he's always a conscientious guy out there. He seems like he's a really nice guy, just from a few times I've talked to him. And, you know, he knows a lot about the game. 0-1 swung on and fouled, and it's 0-2. And being a coach's son, as he was in high school, as his father was his head coach at Marina High, I feel like a lot of the time they know the game so well because they learned from their father from maybe the time they're 3 or 4 years old. Here's the pitch. Another one fouled by Marshall, who has now fouled 3 in a row. And it's 0-2, still to Nick Marshall. Nick Marshall, we were starting to say, just like the starting pitcher, Brett Early, lettered in 3 sports at his high school. He was in football, baseball, and soccer. Here's the pitch. Swung on again and fouled back at the screen. And it's 0-2 still, as at this moment you think Willie Amador might just try to throw a purpose breaking pitch in the dirt to try to get Marshall fishing. Although, if he did get away from Montalbano, the catcher, Pirates would be able to score a run. This one comes inside, check swing, no swing. They cannot ring him up on that, and they don't, as it's ball 1. 1-2 the count to Nick Marshall, who held up there. Nick Marshall's younger brother, as a freshman, plays at Panola College, so more baseball in the bloodlines for his family. Here's the pitch. Upstairs, ball 2. 2-2 the count. So Nick Marshall really doing a good job here in this at-bat, extending the count, fouling off 4 pitches. And now, after fouling off those 4 pitches, taking 2 balls, and the first one close, but just holding up. Amador, peering in at his catcher's signs, likes what he sees and fires. Fastball lifted to right field, going back 10 feet towards the warning track and making the grab as the right fielder Kaplan. As that ball carried, looked like it was just going to be a routine fly ball, but Kaplan ended up having to cover a lot of ground and making the catch right in front of that warning track, as we mentioned. So the Pirates once again with a hit in the inning, and once again getting a man in scoring position, but not able to come through with the run. And at the end of 3.5, they trail by a score of 5-0 to the Foresters. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath, scared to rock the boat and make a mess. So I said quietly, agreed politely. I guess that I forgot.
back as we head to the bottom of the fourth inning. Seems like the in-between innings are moving along really quickly here today, as Brett Early remains on the bump for the Pirates. Big swing and a miss at an off-speed pitch for strike one to Ryan Chandler. Chandler drew a walk in the second inning and scored the third run of the inning for the Foresters, the fourth run overall in the game. Pirates down by a score of 5-0. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss again. Strike two, 1-2 the count. Once again, Early going to that first pitch that he threw that really the hitter Chandler took a big swing at and was way out in front of. 1-2 offering. Foul back. Well, as we mentioned as well, so far, Early has not been able to retire the leadoff hitter. And it's not just that. It's the fact that the leadoff hitter in each inning so far has had an extra base hit. So trying to buck that trend right here is big number 75 on the Pirates, who throws a fastball outside, ball 2. 2-2 the count. It was John Holland who tripled in the first inning. Nesloni who doubled in the second inning. And Kaplan who homered in the third inning. And so all those guys ended up scoring, and that is 3 of their 5 runs in the game. Meanwhile, the ball at the plate, and it's now a full count here to Ryan Chandler. Fastball swung on and lifted to right field to Thumb right near the foul line, and that'll be the first time today that Brett Early retires a leadoff batter. So that is a welcome thing here for the Pirates. As Early and the hitter, Chandler, exchanging a few words there as he ran in front of the pitcher's mound after flying out to right field. Not exactly sure if that was what that was about. As the leadoff hitter, John Holland, will come to the plate. Holland is 1 for 1. Tripled and scored in the first and had the sac fly RBI in the second. And here's a pitch off the plate outside, ball 1. 1-0 the count to hitter John Holland, who's batting .422 this season for the Foresters. And yes, he did go, says the home plate umpire, and it's now 1-1 to Holland. Holland 5'11", 185. Redshirt junior at Mississippi State. So you look at this lineup that they're sending out, and pretty much every single guy is not just at a D1 school, but you know, you're seeing SEC schools, you're seeing Pac-12 schools, you're seeing Big West, which obviously they play good baseball in the Big West. In fact, UCSB is a member of the Big West. This one's outside for a ball, 3-1. So you'll see a couple of UCSB guys as well as Cal State Fullerton and UC Irvine. And so really just entirely D1 lineup here as a 5-pitch walk is drawn at the plate by John Holland. So Holland, in 3 plate appearances, all 3 times doing something productive. The first time with the triple and scoring, second time with the RBI sac fly, and the third time now drawing a walk. And here comes David Greer. David Greer 1 for 2, RBI single back in the second inning here for the Santa Barbara Foresters. David Greer, 6'1", 190, junior at Arizona State. And the other thing you'll notice if you look at the roster for the Foresters, pickoff throw over to first, sliding back hit first was John Holland. You don't just have California boys here. You have guys from Texas, guys from Alabama, and we're talking about hometowns. We have guys from Arizona, from Texas, Florida, so really Georgia, Missouri. So really you've got guys from all over the nation coming to play for this team. And so really, and we'll leave out, we can't leave out Tennessee. There's a player from Tennessee as well. So a bunch of states represented by the Foresters, and I think as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, you would really be able to understand that because of the fact that, well, this is the team that went to the NBC World Series and won it the past 2 years. Pitch misses for a ball 2-0 the count. What's interesting enough about that is they play in the California Collegiate League. And in that league, even though they won the national championship the past 2 years, they didn't actually win the league the last 2 years, as the LA Brewers from Orange County ended up winning the league championship those past 2 years. Meanwhile, the Inland Valley Pirates fell in the championship series last year in the SCCBL to the Palm Springs Power. This one's low and away. Breaking pitch. Ball 3-0. I'm trying to see because my view, I believe, is obstructed of the bullpen. But it doesn't look like there's any movement for Charlie Reynoso. Fastball, strike one. 3-1 the count. Pretty much taking the whole way was David Greer. And so David Greer now with the hitter's pitch to come. 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. The runner on first base, John Holland. And the number 2 hitter at the plate for the Foresters. The runner goes. And it's going to be a ball anyways. So Nick Marshall smartly keeping the ball in his hand as the runner Holland was going to be able to advance to second base no matter what. But I said smartly, and then right as I said smartly, and you might be able to see that on your stream, you can definitely see down at second base, and maybe Holland just did this because he knew Marshall didn't throw it. But Holland actually ran past the bag. And so, in theory, if Marshall had thrown it there, and he might not have done that had Marshall thrown it, but if he had done that, they could have tagged him out, fouled back and out of play. For strike one, 0-1 the count to Granger Studdard. Granger Studdard, 344 on the season, and has hit an RBI in both of his at-bats here back in the first and second inning. So Studdard with another man in scoring position trying to find his 3rd RBI of the day. Here's the pitch, 0-1 outside, ball 1, 1-1 the count. Studdard plays for Texas State, 6'2", 190. Left-handed hitter for the Foresters. Early checking the runner at second. No one holding on. Comes to the plate. Check swing, and they say yes, he did go at the plate by the home plate umpire, and it's 1-2. So I think Brett Early will be happy with getting ahead here on a 2-strike count. And what we say happy is the fact that if he'll be able to retire this hitter without giving up an RBI this time. The previous 2 plate appearances, he came through with an RBI, and this one just grounded foul. Otherwise, that would have been a lot of trouble, as that may have very well scored 2 runs. Because David Greer, that one was rolling right down the line. Greer might have been able to score from first, but just a foul ball there. And so, Pirates avert. Could have been another run scored or maybe more. Pirates trying to keep the Foresters off the board for the first time this game, as the Foresters scored 1 in the first, 3 in the second, and 1 in the third. This is the 4th inning. Pitch misses low and inside, ball 2-2 into the count. Good stop by Nick Marshall. And so Nick Marshall out of the crouch, sliding over to his right to ensure that those 2 runners didn't advance 90 feet in the scoring position and allow the Foresters to get another opportunity to potentially score a run here in the 4th. Early delivers. Foul back at the screen, and it remains 2-2. So Studdard fouls that one off. As we mentioned, this is a team that everywhere you look, it's basically like an all-star team. The men in blue, the Foresters, going against the Pirates, who Pirates, as we mentioned as well, have really, they have a great roster as well. Line drive, left field, slicing down the line and fair. In comes 1 run. That's Holland. Greer rounding third, and he's going to come home to score. Meanwhile, Studdard digging in for 3, and he is gunned out at third. But he does have 2 RBIs and now has 4 in the game as 2 runs come home to score, and it's now a 7-0 score. So Studdard with a 2 RBI double, and then thrown out at the bag at third as Reynoso hit his cutoff man and Nellis firing to Costello, so 7-6-5 if you're scoring at home there. Meanwhile, that was the second out of the inning, and it's now, as we said, 7-0. And here's Jeremy Montalbano, who swings and misses. Strike 1, 0-1 the count. Montalbano is 0 for 1, flew out to left field, and was hit by a pitch back in the first inning. So, man, just so close to being a foul ball, but landed in fair territory, and 2 more runs come home to score for the Foresters. And so Studdard keeps his streak alive as he's come through with an RBI in all 3 of his plate appearances in this game. Swing and a miss at one in the dirt. 1-2 the count to Montalbano. Well, Stutter doing, I guess, what you would put him there in that number 3 spot to do. Of course, when you put that guy in the number 3 spot, he's your best hitter, and he's showing it here today. Fastball up for ball 2, 2-2 the count. So Deuce is running wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 2 runs in the inning. As we also have Red Early trying to get his final out of the inning. This one misses low and away. Ball 3-2 the count. Well, and maybe part of the reason Early has been laboring in this game is the sense that these hitters are just able to hit most of his stuff. Ball 4. And so that'll be a walk to Montalbano, the 3rd walk of the game. But and even though it's only the 3rd walk of the game, and I say only the 3rd walk of the game, he's been going to 3-ball counts for a lot of these at-bats. And I think the reason being is just the sense that, I mean, he knows and he can see the fact that these guys can really do a lot of stuff. And so Early trying to mix it up as best as he can. But the Foresters, ground ball right side. Charging in is Channing Varela, who makes the flip over to Nellis at second. And that'll do it here for the home half of the 4th inning. But another 2 runs scored. As the Foresters have scored in each and every run so far. We'll head to the top of the 5th in a 7-0 ball game. Listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. Welcome back as we head to the top of 5, 7-0 the Pirates trail. First pitch by Henley, swung on and lifted shallow left field. Coming in and making the grab is Melanie, who ran a long way to make that play for the first out here in the top of the 5th inning. So Henley goes down and he's 0 for 2 here now in this game as Nick Hernandez comes to the plate with the line drive that he crushed out to center field. Great play made by Chandler, the center fielder, on that play to retire Hernandez. Meanwhile, there's a couple changes in the field for the Foresters. Called strike 1 at the knees. 0-1 the count here. You have Holland, who started at short, moving to third. And the new shortstop in as well. Ground ball right side through the right side hole for a base hit. And so Hernandez showing that he is really, really good player for the Pirates. And he's been on fire as well this season. And you just need to look at the stats to really see how good he's been. But really, I mean, for Cal Poly Pomona to be able to get him coming to their school as a freshman next season is going to be a major plus, because this is the type of guy who's going to do damage for at least 3 years. And I say at least 3 years because he may very well find a way to get drafted. Bunt, and we mentioned Nellis has done this in the past, but this time he's going to be thrown out. So Nellis retired. as Hernandez advances to second. And so that's the second out here in the top of the 5th inning. But just driving home the point about Hernandez, entering the day, Hernandez was hitting .379. And, you know, all these SCCBL matchups that he played in. Meanwhile, here comes Channing Varela. Varela, he's done some damage with the bat here today. He's 2 for 2. And hoping to go 3 for 3. And if he can, maybe the Pirates will find a way to score. As Hernandez is in scoring position. Varela fouls the first pitch back at the screen. And it's 0-1 to Channing. Channing was behind 0-1 the last time. And last time, hit the base hit off of the right leg of the pitcher, Amador. As it connected with him and ricocheted out in the left field. Channing Varela digging in, awaiting the 0-1 offering. Here's the pitch. Called strike 2, 0-2 the count. Well, Channing Varela, hometown of Chino, went to Chino High School. Guy who's been to a number of schools over the past few years and is looking for a home for his final 2 years because he's a junior to be, trying to demonstrate and show exactly what his skill set is this summer to some recruits and some scouts. For this one grounded to the third base side foul past the manager, Charlie Reynoso, and it remains 0-2. We talked about the juniors to be who went to JCs previously. And really this summer league is so important for them to do just what I said, to demonstrate their skill set and to be able to show exactly how good they are. And then we've had a number of players this season, and really even, that are currently actually not even here because they're on trips right now. They're on recruiting trips. Brendan Hornings is in Hawaii right now. Here's the pitch. Fastball low and away, ball 1, 1-2 the count. So Horning was actually the guy that I think was originally supposed to get the nod today from Charlie Reynoso. I think that was the original plan. But Horning making the trip out to Hawaii on a recruiting visit. And also Kyle Jackson, one of the best hitters on the Pirates, not here as well, as he's on a recruiting visit in Nebraska. Here's the pitch. Low and away. Ball 2, 2-2 the count to Channing Varela. So you talk about the 2s on the board, and you see 4 of them as it's 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and number 2 at the plate with a runner on second base as well here for Channing Varela. Varela trying to find a way to get his 3rd hit of the day. Takes this one inside for ball 3, 3-2 the count. Not sure if he lost track of the count and maybe thought it was ball 4, but it looked like he started walking down the first base line. And so it's now going to be a payoff pitch to come to Channing Varela. So Varela, as we mentioned, a guy who's went to 3 different schools the last 3 years. He was at Chino High School 3 years ago, 2 years ago, Riverside City in Orange Coast this past year, trying to find another school for the final 2 swings and misses at this one for strike 3. And so he's retired for the first time today. And we are now halfway through this baseball game. And the score is 7-0. Pirates trailing the Foresters. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
There must be some kind of way out of here, said the Joker to the thief. Yeah, there's too much confusion. I can't get no relief.
Yeah, I see jokers on my left, beats up on my right. You find me in the middle with a picked a different life. Before my name started trickling inside, but I'm still showing signs, all attributed to mine. In the pitch black, it's too cold, I'm all alone. Take me back to the roads I had to roam to get here, but no hitch back. Get a cab to my mother's house, see my old man and grab a 6-pack. Tell my brother I love him and give him something that will see him through the hard times. What's a brother for? When I'm sick of this life I see, it has to be my family who lift me off the floor. Make sense of all the madness in a world full of money, full of tears, full of war. I was a power man, I worked from the earth up. Save your wine for the entrepreneurs.
sun will never win, no, that's why they live a lie. I don't think I'll ever win, all of this is anything. When I die, I hope a lover's at my side. There's no trapdoor or get out clause. The world can be a restaurant or a set of jail doors. You've seen mine, I think it's time I see yours. I bet you that we've been scarred by the same swords. So we're not so unalike, apart from the fact I live my life in the light, and now I'm trapped in it. The way I feel within a few years' time, I might have a couple kids and just forget I ever wrote lyrics.
Tyler Nesloni.
And welcome back, as we are now in the bottom of the 5th inning. 7-0 is the score. Pirates trailing the Santa Barbara Foresters. Tyler Nesloni due up here, followed by Troy Conyers and Brett Boswell in the home half of the 5th inning. First pitch off the plate, ball 1. 1-0 the count here. Conlon McKenzie now on the mound. So McKenzie comes in to relieve Brett early. Fly ball, shallow center field, and making the grab is Nellis, about 10 feet deep on the outfield grass for the first out. And that was something that really Brett Early struggled to do. In fact, allowed the first 3 leadoff hitters that he faced to get on base with extra base hits before retiring the last one in the 4th inning. But Conlon McKenzie gets the first batter he faces the fly out. And as we mentioned, here's Troy Conyers. Conyers is 0 for 2 in this game. A couple ground ball outs to Channing Varela, the second baseman. Takes a low ball 1, 1-0 the count. So Troy Conyers at the dish here from the University of San Diego. As we have a little bit of a delay for the ball boy. Yes, the Santa Barbara Foresters have a ball boy picking up the baseball. So not the typical, seeing the on-deck batter get the ball. Blown away, ball 2, 2-0 the count. Conlon McKenzie, 6'2", 240, right-handed pitcher, and went to Citrus College the past 2 years, and figures to be going to Midland University from what I talked to him about. Breaking pitch, backdoor breaking pitch, outside ball 3, 3-0 the count. And basically, from what I understand, he's going there, and I say it like that because he said, well, 4 of my buddies from Citrus College are going there, so I thought I might as well join them and, play this season with them. And so I'll have to ask him again towards the end of the season if that, in fact, is what he's going to do. He'll be a junior next season. This one's outside ball 4, 5-pitch walk drawn by Conyers. Well, we talked about the fact the walks have killed us this season, and there is another one issued by Conlon McKenzie. Conlon McKenzie, well, this past season at Citrus College was a bit of a struggle for him and had over a 5 ERA, and told me as well when I talked to him earlier in the season that he thought that and felt like this summer was so important for him because he wanted to get back to being the real Conlon McKenzie, and that's basically how he put it to me. Snap throw down to first, and they got him off the bag as Nick Marshall back picks the runner at first base, Conyers. So Marshall making the nice play down to first base. And here is Brett Boswell as the Pirates now have 2 outs in the inning and are trying to just keep the Foresters off the board for the first time today. And so far, it looks good at the moment as you have 2 out. And now you have a strike called at the plate. And this is Boswell at the plate, who's 0 for 1. Also walked and scored in the 2nd inning. Ground ball right side foul. 1-2 the count here. But Conlon McKenzie this season, 10 1/3 innings pitched, 4.36 ERA, 1.26 WHIP for the Pirates, and 8 strikeouts to 4 walks. So solid 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio in those 10 1/3 innings that he's tossed. But he said, and I think that's the type of players that Charlie Reynoso likes the most. He felt like he had something to prove this summer season after struggling a bit for Citrus during the regular season. Ground ball right side foul, and it's still 1-2 here to hitter Brett Boswell. And so like we said, Conlon McKenzie trying to demonstrate, sort of like how we were talking about Channing Varela at the end of that last inning, what he has as a junior to be. High fly ball, shallow left field coming in as Johnny Reynoso, but Jeff Nellis will make the call, backpedaling into shallow left center field. And so the Pirates finally keep the Foresters off the board here in the 5th inning. And we are now through 5, and the score remains 7-0. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
You spin my head right round when you go down, down.
You spin my head right around when you go down,
Hey, I got the house with my swagger, hopping there with dough, I got places to go. People to see, time is precious, I look at my Cartier out of control. Just like my mind where I'm going, the women, the shorties know nothing but clothes. No stopping at my Pirelli's on roll. Unlike my jewelry, that's always on hold. I know the storm is coming, my pockets keep telling me it's gonna shower. Call up my homies, it's on and popping the night, cause it's meant to be ours. We keep a fadeaway shot, cause we ballin' this platinum Patron every hour. Look, mama, ow, you just like the flowers. Serve you the truth with all that goody power. You spin my head right round when you go down, down.
You spin my head right around when you go down,
From the top of the pool, I watch her go down. She got me throwing my money around. Ain't nothing more beautiful to be found.
And welcome back on the campus of UCSB, the Gauchos. 7-0 is the score, as this has not gone the way that the Pirates hoped it would go, although you know that you were playing one of the top teams in the nation. Swing and a miss, strike one for Costello. 0-1 the count to Nick Costello, who's 1 for 2 in the game, singled in the first and struck out looking in the third. But really, you look at it and you feel like you're playing great competition, and so in some sense it was worth it, just because, as we mentioned, really trying to see how you stack up and also just be able to face that great competition and feel like, you know, there's a couple things that as the Pirates could have done here and there that perhaps maybe could have scored a run if they pieced together another hit in, you know, the first inning, and if they had done that in the first inning, maybe it's a different game, as they had 2 runners on and just 1 out. Fly ball straight away center field, and that is another towering fly ball hit by a Pirate, as the center fielder Chandler will make the grab for the first out here in the top of the 6th inning. Here's Justin Gomez. Gomez 1 for 2, struck out looking, and double in the 4th inning. Well, this Rawlings Cup tournament is pool play for the first 3 days, and then the winner of each pool, the North Division and the South Division, will play here. Here's the pitch on Sunday for the championship. And so the Pirates want to win this pool. I think they're going to have to score a lot of runs in a hurry here in the top of the 6th inning. Here's the pitch. Misses low for a ball, 2-0 the count. I don't know what the tiebreakers are, but in theory, you could still win the pool if you were 2-1, because if one team ended up going 0-3 and all the other teams ended up splitting, you would still have that scenario open. This one's low and away for ball, and it's 3-0. But for that to happen, you feel like there has to be some kind of run differential tiebreaker. And if there is a tiebreaker such as that, called strike one, taking all the way on a 3-0 was Gomez. If there is one like that, Pirates are going to be in a lot of trouble in that tiebreaker, because it's 7-0 here on the top of the 6th inning. Fastball up for a ball 4, and so Gomez reaches base via the walk and is now on base for the 2nd time in 3 plate appearances. And here's Johnny Reynoso, 0 for 2, couple fly ball outs to the outfield. 1 to right field and 1 to left field. Reynoso, an all-star in the SCCBL last season, hitting .380 for the season. Trying to, as he calls for time, taking a long time was Amador. And so Reynoso will call for time and get right back in the batter's box. Have a win going left to right across the field, as the American flag is flying out there to the right in left center. Ground ball left side, hit and run, and it works to perfection. as the shortstop cleared the space, and Johnny Reynoso just punched it right through that open hole. And so the Pirates now trying to get a little bit of a momentum and a rally here in the 6th inning. And maybe at this point you're not thinking about coming all the way back, but you're just thinking about chipping away at the lead and scoring maybe 1 or 2 runs and maybe giving yourself a chance in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings to do something similar. So, as we mentioned, Charlie Reynoso putting on the play with his son Johnny at the plate, hit and run, working perfectly. And here is Jake Thumb. Thumb 0 for 2. First pitch takes up for ball 1. 1-0 the count. Amador staring at the home plate umpire. I think he was not exactly thrilled that the ball was called a ball. 7-0 the score. Meanwhile, what's I think so crazy about the score being 7-0. Here's the pitch from Amador. Breaking pitch, nice one at that. Called a strike at the knees, 1-1 the count. I mean, if you look, there's 3 columns that you always see in a box score. You see the runs, the hits, and the errors. If you look in the second column right now, each team has 6 hits. So I guess you'd say that that might not tell the entire story. Here's the pitch. Ground ball. It's actually a bunt attempt. Thumb trying to run it out, and he's going to beat it out for an infield single. And all of a sudden, the Pirates have the bases loaded here in the top of the 6th inning as Jake Thumb bunting for a single. The second time of the day the Pirates tried doing that. Jeff Nellis tried doing it the first time, but actually ended up grounding out to the pitcher. But this time, Thumb bunting for a single down the first base line. And here comes Nick Marshall with the bases loaded and 1 out. The Pirates trying to get back in this game in the top of the 6th inning. And Nick Marshall's a guy who he's been hitting the ball very hard as of late. And definitely hoping that can find a hole here with the bases loaded. Although, as you know, not the most fleet of foot. So hopefully it doesn't hit the ball hard at somebody because there is a double play possibility. Open line drive right center field. And that'll get down for a base hit. It's going to go all the way back to the wall. In comes 1 run. That's Gomez. Reynoso coming home to score. Rounding third, that's Thumb. And it's a 3-run double for Nick Marshall. And it's now 7-3 as the Pirates getting 3 runs here in the top of the 6th inning. We talked about the hits, and they've been hitting all game long. And once again, the Inland Valley Pirates, Nick Marshall with the huge bases clearing double to right center field past the diving right fielder Kaplan. And that'll do it here for Amador, I think, as there now is going to be a coach from the Santa Barbara Foresters, and Amador will give the ball to his coach as the Pirates trying to come back. Still just 1 out here in the top of the 6th inning, and we'll get a new pitcher when we come back on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
She got me throwing my money around. Ain't nothing more beautiful to be found. It's going down, down. They must know I'm the man. My money lover like a number 1 fan. Don't open my mouth, let her talk to my fans. My Benjamin Franklin lands. A couple of grands, I got rubber bands. My paper planes making a dance. Get dirty all night, that's part of my plan. Keep building castles that's made out of sand. She's amazing, on fire blazing, hotter than Cajun. Girl, won't you move a little closer? Time to get paid, it's maximum wage. That body belong on a poster. In the days that bottom is waving at me like damn it I know you. You wanna shoot like a gun out of holster. Tell me whatever and I'll be your gopher. You spin my head right round when you go down, when you go down, down.
You spin my head right round when you go down, when you go down.
From the top of the pool, I watch her go down. She got me throwing my money around. Ain't nothing more beautiful to be found. It's going down, down. From the top of the pool, I watch her go down. She got me throwing my money around. Ain't nothing more beautiful to be found. It's going down, down. Yeah, I'm spending my money. I'm out of control. Somebody help me. She taking my bankroll, but I'm king of the club, and I'm wearing a crown. Popping these bottles, touching these bottles, watching the asses go home. You spin my head right
welcome back as we remain in the top of the 6th inning. A very prosperous inning so far for the Pirates. As hitter at the plate, and that last at bat was Nick Marshall, who cleared the bases with a double to right center field, past the right fielder Kaplan, who tried laying out for it, and to no avail. And when in doing so, ended up allowing the ball to roll all the way back to the base of the fence in right center field, which enabled the runner to score all the way from first base. That was at first base Jake Thumb. So Thumb, Reynoso, and Gomez scoring on the 3-run double by Nick Marshall. And so Nick Marshall, as we mentioned, at second base here for Nolan Henley. And Nolan Henley 0 for 2 has been struggling mightily at the plate. If he could somehow find a way to get a hit here, it would be both huge for the Pirates in this game as well as huge for his confidence. Here's the pitch. High and away, ball 1 on the count to Henley. Henley goes about his business at the plate and on the field as well. And makes sense here that he does that because really, when you talk about it, he's a business administration major, and he, a lot of the time, will come directly from work to the field to play. As this one is a fastball upstairs, ball 2. 2-0 the count here to Nolan Henley. So Nolan Henley, a guy who in this, slump that he's really been in, still not really striking out much, just making contact but not finding hits. It'd be great if he could find one right here. You know what the other thing, this one's blown away, ball 3, 3-0 the count to number 3. The other thing that we had just mentioned before Nick Marshall had the double, and also before the bunt hit by Thumb, was the fact that it was 6 hits to 6. Now the Pirates have more hits, in fact 2 more hits than the Foresters, but still trail by 4. 3-0 on the inside corner, strike 1. 3-1 the count. Nolan Henley, let's see what they give him here. This is a 3-1 pitch, so Nolan might be able to sit dead right on a fastball from Tyler McGill, the new pitcher for the Santa Barbara Foresters. Big guy, 6'7", 230, as this one is fouled back into the adjacent softball field here at UC Santa Barbara. As we mentioned, 6'7", 230 is this right-handed pitcher wearing number 40, plays for Loyola Marymount. So Henley fouling that one off, and it's now a full count to him. Big pitch for Nolan Henley. He takes it off the plate outside, ball 4. So Nolan Henley draws a walk here, and now we go to Nick Hernandez, and it's a bit unusual to see Nick Hernandez in the number 9 spot, and I'm seriously guessing that a reason that might have been was because he might have been a late arrival to the game, as he wasn't in the initial starting lineup written out by Charlie Reynoso. But then all of a sudden, in the DH spot, you see 16 come out instead of 27, who was Urbach, who was originally in the lineup. And Hernandez today 1 for 2. Ground ball through the 3-4 hole for a single. And then the one that he cracked to dead center, and the center fielder made an amazing play. Chandler making a Willie Mays-esque play on the dead sprint back to the plate and made the grab on the warning track. Strike 1 at the plate to Nick Hernandez. 0-1 the count to Nick. So the Pirates trying to continue to scratch and claw around here and try to find a few more runs in this 6th inning, as there's still just 1 out, and this one misses blown away for ball 2. 2-0 the count here to Hernandez. So McGill has come out a bit wild here after walking Henley, and now down 2-0, and this will get a visit from Montalbano. Well, it's not much like it is in Pomona, as here in Santa Barbara, we're actually sitting in front of the press box, and there's shade, and in the shade there's also a breeze, and it's getting chilly up here. Well, I haven't had to deal with that or struggle with something like that. Meanwhile, Pirates are getting hot on the plate. Ground ball foul back, and it's 2-1 to Nick Hernandez. was actually fouled straight back at the screen by Hernandez. And so, like we mentioned, 7-3 the score, and almost looks like we're playing a football game right now when you look at the score of being 7-3. But the Pirates hoping to, score a few more runs here and to make it not look like that football score anymore. Meanwhile, it's been tough to stop the Foresters on defense and pitching, but still, the fact that you're now scoring 3 runs in this inning, and Hernandez ahead in the count with 2 men on base, 3-1 the count to Hernandez. Nick Hernandez, left-handed hitter, swings at this one and fouls it back, and it's a full count. So Nick Hernandez, he's going to get something to hit, you would think here, although the previous hitter, Nolan Henley, had a full count and took Lone away for ball 4. Meanwhile, there's an airport very close by and a plane just taking off right now as the full count delivery comes from the right arm of McGill. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Down goes Hernandez. So Hernandez strikes out swinging, a big out there for the Foresters as the home crowd cheering on the relief pitcher McGill. So Willie Amador, starter, 5 1/3 innings. Still responsible for the runner at second base, that's Marshall. Back to the top of the lineup we go, and Jeff Nellis, another guy who, as we mentioned, has been very hot as of late. Takes low and away, but it's called a strike. 0-1 the count. As hot as he's been as of late, he's 0 for 3 in this game. But Nellis coming into the day, 293 batting average. And really, you have to look at the fact that that 293 batting average is just really amazing considering what he was at one point. Now he's trying to bunt for a hit and fouls this one. And that's actually the second time today he tried doing that. First time he was retired. Second time, as you just saw, he fouls it. But Jeff Nellis, guy who 6'0", 185, coming off a state championship at Orange Coast College and committing to a dream school of his, Long Beach State, as a junior to be in a big situation here, but down 0-2 in the count. Here's the pitch. Misses inside, ball 1. 1-2 the count. So Jeff Nellis, hometown San Marcos, and went to Mission Hills High School in the San Diego area. 1-2 the count for him. Coming set in the stretch is McGill. Checks the runner at second. Nobody holding Marshall on. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Down goes Jeff Nellis. So the Pirates send up 8 hitters in the inning and get 3 hits and score 3 runs and cut the deficit to a 7-3 ball game, and they trail by 4 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Looking for a better way to get up out of bed instead of getting on the internet and checking a new hit. Me get up, first shot, come strut walking. A little bit of humble, a little bit of cautious. Somewhere between like Rocky and Cosby's for the game. Nope, y'all can't copy ya. Glad moonwalking, and this here is our party. My posse's been on Broadway, and we did it all way. Chrome music, I shed my skin and put my bones into everything I record to it. And yeah, I'm on. Let that stage light go and shine on down. Got that Bob Barker suit game and Plinko in my style. Money, stay on my craft and stick around for those pounds. But I do that to pass the torch and put on for my town. Trust me, on my INDEPENDENT shit hustling. Chasing dreams since I was 14 with the 4-track bustin'. Halfway across that city with the back question. Labels out here, now they can't tell me nothing. We give that to the people, spread it across the country. Labels out here, now they can't tell me nothing. We give it to the people, spread it across the country. Here we go back, this is the moment.
And welcome back as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. do up 9-1 and 2 in the lineup. That's Chandler, followed by Holland and Greer. Colin McKenzie remains on the bump for his second inning of work in relief of Brett Early. First inning went well for Colin McKenzie as the pitch misses outside, ball 1. 1-0 the count. Well, Colin McKenzie in that inning just faced 3 hitters. Didn't set down the side in order, though, because actually one of the hitters, Troy Conyers, was walked, but Conyers was backpicked off first base by the snap throw from Nick Marshall down to first. Another pitch misses outside for ball 3, and so Colin McKenzie now in a 3-0 hole going against Chandler. Here's the pitch. Right down Broadway, strike 1, 3-1 the count. Well, the Foresters scored 1 in the first and then 3 in the second, so they had a 4-0 lead at the end of 2. Here's the pitch. Foul ball out of play down the third base line, and it's now a full count. They tacked on another run in the third to make it 5-0 before jumping ahead 7-0 at the end of 4 as they scored 2 in the fourth. Foul back again. Another full count pitch to come. And no scoring in the 5th inning. And the Pirates in the top of the 6th scoring 3. And that's what the score is right now, 7-3. Here's a pitch from McKenzie. Line drive, right field, base hit. So Chandler with the leadoff base hit here in the 6th inning. And back to the top of the lineup we go. And actually, this looks to be a new hitter. This is number 15. So number 15 comes into the game here, Dylan Paul. So Dylan Paul from Texas State, hometown of Katy, Texas, in for John Holland. So John Holland, his day is done, and his day was a very good, very successful day for number 13, because in every at-bat, in every plate appearance, he did something important. His first one tripled and scored. His second one, sac fly RBI. And his third one, he walked and scored. But the Foresters giving Dylan Paul an at-bat here. Paul, actually a catcher by trade. So a bit interesting for a catcher to come into a shortstop spot. Runner goes, Marshall down the second, and won't be able to throw out the speedy base runner, Chandler. So Chandler steals the bag on Marshall, who had a one-hopper down to the bag. And he's going to talk things over with McKenzie, maybe just telling McKenzie to pay better attention of the runner on first base, because there was really nothing Marshall could do there to make the play at second. Or maybe just talking strategy about exactly how they want to attack this new hitter, Dylan Paul. Colin McKenzie, hometown of Walnut, went to Walnut High School. Only pitched 9 innings last year for the Pirates, but in those 9 innings, had 0 earned runs and was 2-0, and 7 strikeouts as well. Here's the pitch. This one misses low for a ball. Well, another thing that you look at him being in the Southern California area, his major is in film. And so I think he's in the right spot in Southern California if he wants to continue to pursue that career after his baseball days are done. Of course, he'll still have a couple years left of eligibility. And it sounds like, as we mentioned earlier in the previous inning, if you were listening or watching, that he's headed to the Midwest. But still, might be a good idea to come back out here to Southern California if that is the route you wanted to go with film. Breaking pitch, blown away, ball 4. And so a walk here, issued to Dylan Paul. Meanwhile, we have another new batter here for the Foresters, as everybody's going to come out to talk things over on the mound. This is John Brunsema. So John Brunsema in here in the spot of David Greer. So the Santa Barbara Foresters bringing in a couple pinch hitters in a row. Bronsema, 6'2", 180, junior, who goes to UC Irvine. Meanwhile, as we give you the new hitter, we'll also have a new pitcher, because that'll do it for Conlon McKenzie. And we'll step away for a few moments as we find out who the new pitcher is, and it'll be Andrew Eppenbach. So Eppenbach, a guy that Charlie Reynoso likes to rely on to really basically slam the door shut and close games out. He's bringing him in here in the 6th inning against the Foresters in a game that the Pirates are trailing by 4 runs. So a bit surprising. Maybe this is just the scheduled day for Eppenbach to go. But he will toe the rubber and take the mound when we return on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Tonight is the night, we'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. Can we go back? This is the moment. Tonight is the night, we'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. Now, can I kick it? Thank you. Yeah, I'm so damn grateful. I grew up really wanna go fronts, but that's what you get when Wu-Tang raised you. Y'all can't stop me. Go hard like I gotta eat it within my heartbeat. And I'm eating at the beat like it gave a little speed to a great white shark on shark. We rock. Time to go up, gone. Deuces goodbye. I got a world to see. My girl, she wanna see Rome. Caesar make you a believer. Nah, I never ever did it for a throne. That validation comes from giving it back to the people. Now sing this song and it goes like, raise those hands. This is our party. We came here to live life like nobody was watching. I got my city right behind me. If I fall, they got me. Learn from that failure, gain humility, and then we keep marching. I said, we go back? This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. Back. This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us.
Still in the bottom of the 6th inning, as Colin McKenzie has gotten the hook after allowing the first 2 runners to reach base. And here comes Andrew Eppenbach doing something that he's been, I think, pretty accustomed to doing now this season, which is come in relief with runners on board. Oh, the pitch is over the head of the squaring around John Brunsema. And I mean, it looks like, I think they were trying to sacrifice, and both runners ended up stealing on the play. It's not exactly the first pitch that you wanted to have if you were Andrew Eppenbach. Meanwhile, the infield playing in for the play at the plate. Here's the pitch. Line drive. Oh, glove play made by Reynoso, and actually it's going to be an infield hit as Reynoso almost made the leaping catch at third base. But what it did do is it kept the Foresters off the board for now, but now the bases are juiced here for the Foresters. So Bronsema with the single off the mitt of Reynoso. And you think about it, and you brought the infield in to play for the play at the plate. And actually, if Reynoso had been in his normal position, might have been able to make the play, although it wouldn't have probably been caught in the air. It might have one-hopped, and it would have been hard to handle. But still, might have ended up hurting Pirates a little bit. But still, at the end of the day, if you're Reynoso, you ended up stopping that ball and basically making sure that the run wouldn't come home. Corner infielders still playing in for a play at the plate. The middle infielders are just going to turn 2. Although now the middle infielder is playing medium depth. As this one's high, ball 2. 2-0 the count to Gringer Studdard. And Gringer Studdard is the man that has come up 3 times today, and each and every time has an RBI. And in this situation with the bases loaded and no outs, you might think that surely he could find a way to come through with another RBI. Because in this situation, all you need to do is hit a fly ball to the outfield. Or I was going to say even hit a ground ball to the infield, although if you turn 2, it's not considered an RBI, so I guess we could keep our eye on that. 2-0 the count. So, once again, the Pirates' middle infielders playing medium depth, not playing the entire way in. Here's the pitch. Called strike. And it's 2-1 here to Granger Studdard. Andrew Eppenbach, 6'2", 180. Right-handed pitcher, will be a sophomore at Orange Coast College, hometown of Claremont, and went to Bishop Amat High School where he was an all-league selection. Eppenbach set in the stretch, delivers. Nice movement, strike 2. 2-2 the count. So Studdard kind of just watching that pitch, and I think he might have been a little bit surprised by it. As we mentioned, had a lot of movement on that last pitch from Eppenbach. Eppenbach taking a deep side, towing the rubber from the right side in the stretch. Bases loaded. Pitch misses outside, ball 3. So 3-2 the count here for number 3-2 on the Pirates. Bases loaded, no outs. So huge pitch right here for the Pirates. As Eppenbach, he's going to have to deliver a strike. Otherwise, a run's going to come home to score on a walk. Here's the pitch. It's going to be a walk. And so Studdard, now for the 4th time in as many plate appearances, has an RBI. Because it is an RBI when the bases are loaded and you draw a walk. And it's now 8-3. So Granger Studdard now in this game, 5 RBIs. So 5 of the 8 runs in this game have been knocked in by Granger Studdard, the number 3 spot in the lineup for the Foresters. First pitch, ground ball left side. Should be a tailor-made double play. Flipping the second and now turning to 2. And then the runner's going to try to come home and score from second, and they nail him out. So in sorts, it's a triple play for the Pirates. In the middle of the triple play, a run came home to score, though. But a 6-4-3 double play and then thrown to 2. So 6-4-3-2 triple play turned by the Pirates. As we mentioned, in the middle of the triple play, though, 1 run did come home to score. So the Foresters get 2 more here and take a 9-3 lead, as you don't necessarily see that many triple plays ever, and particularly in that fashion. I mean, the fashion really being unusual. And as we mentioned, even though it is a triple play, the Foresters still did get a run on the play. But with that said, I'm going to just write it down right now. 6-4-3-2 triple play. But bottom line is, Foresters have tacked 2 more on to the score. And at the end of 6, it's 9-3. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Peace up, A-Town down. Yeah! Okay! Let's go! In the club with my homies, tryna get a little VI. Keep it down on the low key. She know how it feels. I saw her shorty, she was checking up on me. From the game, she was sitting in my ear. You would think that she knew me. Decided to cheat. Conversation got heavy. She had me feeling like she's ready to blow. Watch out! She saying, come get me, come get me. So I got up and followed her to the floor. She said, baby, let's go. When
And welcome back as we head to the top of the 7th inning. 9-3 is the score. First pitch lined into right center field. Will get down. Chasing a long way was the right fielder Kaplan, who makes the grab to retire Channing Varela. So Varela, after starting 2 for 2 last couple times, making outs here, but Channing Varela still doing a great job for the Pirates today. Meanwhile, we're going to have a pinch hitter here, and that'll be Drew Seelman. So Drew Seelman on for Nick Costello. And Drew Seelman, Cal State Bakersfield Roadrunner, will be a sophomore next season for them. And among other things, we saw him pitch 2 2/3 innings in relief yesterday, and he said it was the first time that he had pitched since. And I asked him if it was high school, and he said not even since high school. He said it was since middle school. And so I also asked him about one of the interesting pitches that he threw. He said it was just a changeup, but it certainly looked unique out of the hand. Pitch misses low for ball 2. 2-0 the count to Drew Seelman. Meanwhile, Drew Seelman, 5'11", 170, hometown of Temecula. Went to Temecula Valley High School. Here's the pitch. Lined in left field for a base hit, and that might be extra base hits as Seelman digging in for 2. The throw is going to come, and he's going to stay up on his feet and gets past the second baseman, and it'll be a stand-up double. Certainly didn't think it would be a stand-up double by virtue of the throw coming towards the bag and almost getting there at a similar time as Seelman. But Seelman, he's very speedy, and he knows his own speed, and obviously there, he knew he was going to get the base no matter what and didn't even have to slide. And so here is Justin Gomez. Gomez 1 for 2. Struck out swinging in the first, doubled in the fourth, walked and scored in the 6th inning. Scored the first run for the Pirates on that 3-run double by Nick Marshall. Here's the pitch. Fastball, down low, ball 2, 2-0 the count. So the Pirates with 1 out, just like in the 6th inning with 1 out. The leadoff man flying out to the outfield both times, hoping to once again put something together here. Here's the pitch. Line drive left field. That's another base hit for the Pirates, and holding at third is Seelman. And Gomez now at first. So the Pirates once again trying to put together a little something here in the 7th inning after scoring 3 in the 6th inning. And here's Johnny Reynoso. So Justin Gomez and Reynoso were 2 of the guys who were part of that previous 3-run rally in the 6th inning, as Gomez was the one who started it all off that time, and he drew a walk and scored, and then it was Reynoso who singled. Let's see if the Pirates can take advantage of a runner in scoring position. Breaking pitch, strike 1, 0-1 the count. So Johnny Reynoso trying to do what he pretty much seemingly did every single time the Pirates needed him to do it last year, which is start a rally one way or another. Trying to be part of a second rally of the game for the Pirates. Takes Alone away for ball 1. Or is that ball 2? I believe the first pitch was called a strike, but it says 2-0 on the scoreboard. So it might be 2-0. So these are the things that we don't have to deal with at Cal Poly Pomona. So 2-0 the count, as I thought the first pitch, the breaking pitch, was called a strike. But I guess it was called a ball. I thought at the time, I was thinking, wow, it looked like it was a bit upstairs, but I guess it was called a ball, and it's 2-0 to Johnny Reynoso with runners on the corners here for the Pirates, trailing 9-3, top of 7. Ground ball left side. This could be an inning-ending double play. 6-4-3, and down goes Reynoso. And so the Pirates can't get across a run as Reynoso grounds out into an inning-ending double play. And we're through 6.5, and it's now time to stretch here at UCSB. 9-3 the score, Pirates trailing the Santa Barbara Foresters. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd.
out at the old ball game.
Foresters right fielder number 20.
And welcome back as we head to the home half of the 7th inning. 9-3 the score. Pirates trailing the Foresters. Here's the pitch, outside ball 1 from Eppenbach. 1-0 the count to Lex Kaplan, who's 1 for 3. But his one was a big one. Here's the pitch. Fly ball, deep left field. As now coming in to make the catch is the left fielder for the Pirates, that being Nolan Henley. So Henley is now in left field. Reynoso
Left fielder number 4.
moved to third base for Costello. Center fielder would be Seelman, who we saw bat in the last inning. And in right, no, that still is Jake Thumb, I believe, in right. I was thinking for a second it might have been Bernardi, but that still does look to be Thumb out there. This pitch misses off the plate. Ball 1. 1-0 the count. Meanwhile, in the infield, everybody else remains the same. Here's the pitch. Ooh, another nice breaking pitch. Maybe it was a little bit of a cutter there. I guess just missing a little bit too far inside from Eppenbach. Leg kick, and here's the pitch. Ground ball right side through the 3-4 hole for a base hit. So that'll be a base hit here for Tyler Neslony.
First baseman number 44.
Here's Troy Conyers. Troy Conyers 0 for 2. Reached on a walk in the 5th and was picked off by Marshall. Reynoso out to the visit with Andrew Eppenbach, and doesn't look like they're going to make a move here as he's just talking things over with Andrew. And actually looks like he's, I don't know, was he a little bit disappointed with the pitch? Looked like he was being a bit demonstrative with his words, like just kind of looking like, I don't know, maybe how could you throw that last pitch? I'm not sure. I'm just speculating from high atop home plate, not from the typical right behind the batter's box. Gives you a different perspective on things and maybe a different perspective on life a little bit, as you just feel like you're high in the sky. But this is a line drive to right field for another base hit, and headed over to third base is Neslony, and the throw comes to third, and he actually overslid the bag, but Reynoso couldn't apply the tag. Meanwhile, Conyers on the throw advanced to second. So Conyers singles to right field, but advances to second on the throw. And it was just that close for the Pirates again, as now there's 2 runners in scoring position with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. So for a second there, Pirates coming back in that 6th inning with 3 runs and closing the gap to 4 runs, as it was 7-3, and the Pirates are still in business. They still only had 1 out and a man on second, and then Henley got a walk, so there was 2 runners on, but Pirates being shut down then after that. And then in that last inning as well, the Pirates had an opportunity with a couple base runners on the corners with 1 out, but Reynoso grounding out into a double play to end the inning. So the Pirates, as we mentioned, it's not like, even though you look at the numbers, you look at that 9-3 score, 1-1 the count, as the curveball just bit on the outside corner, called a strike by the home plate umpire. Even though you look at the 9-3 score, we mentioned it earlier, it's still ground ball comebacker right at Eppenbach, and Eppenbach fields it, and he's going to try to run the runner back to the bag, and they make the play at third. So good job there on the comebacker by Eppenbach. Bosworth reaches on the fielder's choice, and Neslony is retired on the 1-5 put out for the second out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. But we were just about to say that, we were mentioning it earlier, that it actually at one point the Pirates had more hits than the Santa Barbara Foresters. Well, right now it's tied at 10 apiece. Of course, hits are not runs, and the hits that the Foresters had. Ground ball left side at Reynoso. 2-hopper. Reynoso can't field it and then stumbles, and the bases are loaded. So Johnny Reynoso makes the error. And Reynoso now, the bases are loaded. And that's another thing, and we haven't actually seen any errors up until now. That's another thing, along with the walks, that have really hurt the Pirates this season. And that's the first one here today. And really, even though it's a 6-run game, comes at kind of a tough time for the Pirates, because if another hit happens to occur here, this game starts getting out of hand in a hurry. Here's Dylan Paul. Paul, with one plate appearance, walked and scored in the 6th inning. Here he is for his second one. Ooh, that was almost hit him. And it misses inside, though, for a ball. And had it hit him, well, it would have been an RBI the hard way, as the bases are loaded here for Dylan Paul, who entered in John Holland's spot in the 6th inning. 1-1. Ooh, just off the plate, outside ball 2, 2-1 the count. We talked about those pitches from Ebenbach and really the sliding action of them. The fact that if it's on the left side of the plate, it'll go all the way to the right side. And so that one started in the middle and went all the way outside. Here's the pitch. Ground ball right side. Gomez going to field it cleanly and throw to Ebenbach for the final out here in the inning. So good job there by Ebenbach to make a couple plays in the field to get out of this inning unscathed, as it's just the second inning of the game that the Pirates get out of unscathed, and at the end of 7, it's still 9-3 score. Listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. Welcome back. Jake Thumb due up here to start off at the top of the 8th inning here for the Inland Valley Pirates, who remain behind by a score of 9-3 against the Santa Barbara Foresters in this Rawlings Cup tournament that the Foresters are hosting. That, as we mentioned as well, this is a 2-time defending national champion that the Pirates are on the field with. So a very, very great team. 20-3 is their overall record. They're looking to get their 21st win of the season, and they're up by 6 with just 2 innings to play. Meanwhile, in the bullpen, I can see somebody loosening up, but it's off in the distance, so I can't make out who it is. All I can make out is it is a right-handed pitcher. Check swing, grounded at the third baseman, and the third baseman bobbling it now will make the throw over to first. And so beating it out on an error is Jake Thumb. So Thumb beats it out on the error by Holland. And, well, the name of the game is getting base runners on board. And that's what the Pirates do here at the beginning of this inning. And that's actually kind of what, it's interesting. And I'm going to talk about the OC Bucks for a second right now. It was one of our 3 programs. But that's what Joe Villa, the manager of the O.C. Bucks always says, build an inning. He always yells, build an inning, create an inning. Well, just by getting on base, you start building and creating an inning. Here's the pitch. Strike at the knees. 1-1 the count. Meanwhile, the new pitcher, the left-handed pitcher, is Elliott Surrey. Elliott Surrey, 6'0", 175, sophomore from UC Irvine. Fly ball foul, and over at the bullpen. In fact, the bullpen, that's a good idea over there. The bullpen actually has a covering on it, so a lot of times you'll see somebody kind of just down the line trying to protect the pitchers in the bullpen, but this one has, as we mentioned, a barrier over it, a roofing of sorts. Pitch misses inside to Nick Marshall, and it's 2-2. And as that ball actually was fouled over there, I actually did get to see in the light who that was, and it's Vega warming up for the Pirates. Pitch misses outside, ball 3, 3-2 the count. Vega with a tough outing yesterday. Well, just faced one batter, really, and walked him before getting yanked. But here he is today, warming up and potentially getting ready to come in the 8th. Here comes the pitch. Inside, ball 4. So the Pirates with their first 2 men on base in the top of the 8th inning.
Nolan Henley.
And here's Nolan Henley. So an error and a walk. 2 things that we said have actually been really difficult things for the Pirates this year. Maybe starting off a good inning for the Pirates in the 8th inning. So Thumb on second, reached on the error by the third baseman. And on first, Nick Marshall, who drew the walk. And here's Nolan Henley. Henley's 0 for 2. And speaking of walks, was walked in his previous plate appearance. Squaring around and letting it go is Henley. And that'll be strike 1. 0-1 the count. So Henley, not sure if he was trying to bunt for a hit or sacrifice. Even though, I mean, you're down by 6 runs, so I guess you're trying to get 2 across. Here's the pitch. Misses outside, ball 1, 1-1 the count. So Nolan Henley, I think, was just something that he decided to do on his own and tried to just bunt for a hit because he feels like the first baseman and third baseman really aren't really guarding against that. And so it's now 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike here to Henley. Here's the pitch. And he once again tries to bunt for a hit and pops this one up from foul territory. And it lands on the ground foul. And it's 1-2. So Nolan Henley was bunting for a hit there. Because when you leave the batter's box and you try to run like that, that means you're clearly bunting for a hit. Because if you're sacrificing, you square around early. So certainly Henley trying to find any way to find a hit. As we mentioned in his previous plate appearance, struggling a little bit as we get a wave from one of the kids, I guess, watching this game. Ground ball up the middle. Henley's a speedy runner. Will they be able to turn 2? No, they can't. Whoa, a nice diving catch made by the first baseman. And now Thumb's going to come home and score the 4th run of the day for the Pirates. So they make the force out there at second base. Henley beats it out. And the run comes in to score. So Henley finding a way to get on base for the 2nd time in a row, but not via hit. But as we mentioned, Henley, he's a speedy runner, so he kind of forced the shortstop to make a little bit of the errant throw over to first base and allow the first baseman, Conyers, to just basically fall on his back. Reynoso lifts this one into shallow left field, and that's going to drop for a base hit just inside the foul line. So that'll be a single. Excuse me, I said Reynoso. I meant Hernandez. I don't know why I said Reynoso there, but it was Hernandez who singled there. And so we talked about building an inning, and the Pirates are trying to do that. There's only been 1 out recorded so far. That was the force out at second base where Nick Marshall was retired. And the Pirates threatening again with more runners on board here. So we got a miss for Nellis, and it's 0-1. 0 for 4 today is Jeff Nellis. And Jeff Nellis, as we mentioned, is a guy who has been hot, so hot as of late. If he could come through with a hit right now, it would be huge. Pitches in the dirt. Nice block by the catcher, Montebaño, to ensure that the two runners didn't advance in the scoring position, or otherwise, Pirates with one hit would have had a chance to make it a 3-run game. It's a 5-run game right now, 9-4 the score. Here's the pitch. Fly ball. It'll be in foul territory, I believe. Chasing after it are the right fielder and first baseman, and nobody can get there in time. So Jeff Nellis get one more chance at least, as he's down 1-2 in the count to the left-handed pitcher, Surrey. Surrey, as we mentioned, new pitcher entered here in the 8th inning from UC Irvine, hometown of La Crescenta. So one of, I guess you'd say, more or less the few California boys they have. Actually, they still have a fair number of California boys, but it is pretty much split. As you look at it, probably about half California kids and half out of state. Ground ball right side off the edge of the bat. Nellis going to try to beat it out. The flip over to first, and he's retired. So down goes Nellis for the 5th time today. But both runners did advance 90 feet for Channing Varela. So that's the second out in the inning, though. And clearly, when you're up by 5 runs, you'll take that out at first base any way you can get it. And Channing Varela, 2 for 4. Couple of hits his first 2 at-bats. And in fact, hit one off the leg of the starting pitcher, Amador. Ricocheted in the left field in his second at-bat. Trying to find his 3rd hit here. Takes strike 1. 0-1 the count to Channing Varela. Varela, .353 batting average this season, which has gone up because he's 2 for 4 today. Trying to make sure that that batting average continues to go up. .353. Definitely very good mark for him. He's been the number 2 hitter since probably the middle of last season. And he really started taking over that role and commanding that role. And the reason he can be in that spot is, well, multiple reasons. And I think you look at the 5'9", 170 frame, he has some sneaky power with the bat, but really he has a good approach at the plate. And a lot of times that's why you put a guy in a number 2 spot. Line drive up the middle, base hit. In comes and run to score. That's Henley. Rounding third and being held up is Hernandez. And it's a 9-5 game as the Pirates continue to chip away at this lead. And the Pirates continuing to fight here. Henley comes to score on the RBI single by Channing Varela, who's now 3 for 5 in the game. Channing Varela, and we mentioned a lot about Reynoso, and Reynoso's usually one of the guys who started the rallies last year. Channing Varela was another part of those rallies that we saw in 2014 for the Pirates when they were the co-champions of the SCCBL regular season. Of course, this season it's been a bit of a different story, but still some games to play. And the way they're playing today, you hope it's something that you can build upon. Here's Drew Seelman for the 2nd time today. He's batting in Nick Costello's spot. First time he came in, cracked it down the left field line for a double and stayed up on his 2 feet for a stand-up double when it looked like the throw was going to get there almost at the same time. But it actually got past the second baseman, swing and a miss. And it's 1-1 to Drew Seelman. Drew Seelman at Temecula Valley High School was part of a CIF championship team and got to play at Dodger Stadium. Here's the pitch. Off the plate outside, ball 2. 2-1 the count. His Temecula Valley High School team defeated Elisa Nagel 5-3 in that game at Dodger Stadium. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. So deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2 runs in the inning for the Pirates, and 2 men on base. Seelman hoping to take advantage of those 2 men on base and come up with an RBI here. 2-2, swing and a miss, and down he goes. So that'll do it for the top of the 8th inning, but the Pirates get 2 back and make it a 9-5 game. as we head to the bottom of the 8th. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Could you whisper in my ear the things you wanna feel? I'll give you anything to feel it coming. Do you wake up on your own? I wonder where you are, live with all your faults. I wanna wake up where you are. I won't say anything at all, so why don't you slide? Don't you love the life you killed? The priest is on the phone. Your father hit the wall. Your mom disowned you. Don't suppose I'll ever know. So means to be a man. Something I can just change and live around here. I wanna wake up where you are. I won't say anything at all. So why don't you slide? And I'll do anything you ever dreamed to be complete. Little pieces, more than nothing that fall. Oh, man. Put your arms around me. What you feel is what you are, what you are is beautiful. Oh, man. You wanna get married? Run away.
And welcome back as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Dave Soberi on the play-by-play. Bronsima at the plate. Takes low, ball 1. 1-0 the count here as Jarrett Vega has come in on relief. As we mentioned, he was warming up in the previous inning. Here's the pitch. Line drive, left field, base hit. And so that'll be a single from Bronsima. And a leadoff single at that here for the Santa Barbara Foresters in the home half of the 8th inning. Well, if you look at it, and for the Pirates, they fell in a 7-0 hole at the end of 4, but have since answered and really have since fought back, making it a 9-5 game. This is Granger Studdard, and Granger Studdard, this is the guy that we've been talking about in this game. Misses inside, ball 1, brush back pitch, 1-0 the count. In this game, every time Granger Studdard has come to the plate, he has come up with 1 RBI and has 5 for the game in 4 plate appearances. This time it's going to be a little bit tougher, though, as there's only a runner on first base for him this time. But that's Bronsima. But if he could find the gap, he might perhaps be able to come up with yet another RBI. Of course, the Pirates are hoping, and especially Jarrett Vega, are hoping that that will not happen here. Meanwhile, clouds covering Santa Barbara as it's gotten very cloudy here. 2-1 the count. Vega, 5'10", 190, right-handed pitcher from Cal State Bakersfield. Strike called inside, corner. 2-2 the count. Hometown of Hemet. Went to Tockwitz High School. At Tockwitz High School, he was a 2-time All-CIF player, 3-time All-League player, and graduated with honors as well. Fell back and out of play. It remains 2-2. Jarrett Vega, he's got baseball pumping through his blood, as his father Mark played baseball for Sacramento State, and both of his brothers playing collegiately as well. Here's the pitch. The runner goes off with the pitch. It's outside ball. The throw down is second. He's safe. And so steals a bag, does Bronsima. And now there is a runner in scoring position here for this dangerous batter in Studdard. But to complete the story, Bryant His brother played for CSU San Bernardino, and his other older brother, Garrett, played at Mount Sac. And his older brother, Garrett, actually was part of the Diamond Valley Sabres a couple years ago in the SCCBL. In fact, I believe that may have been before the Pirates were in the league. I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember. But if the Pirates were in the league, that would have been their first year in the league. Here's the pitch. Full count pitch, misses low for ball 4. So Studdard, his RBI streak is over, but he does reach base via a walk.
Jeremy Montalbano.
So we talked about the father playing collegiately and both brothers. Well, doesn't stop there because his sister plays softball collegiately as well at Cal State Bakersfield, which is where he currently goes. So baseball running in the blood and even in the sister's blood as well, sister Carissa. Well, Vega, we mentioned yesterday's performance, just one batter walked and then yanked. Here today, another tough start to it as he's allowed a hit and a walk to the 2 batters that he's faced, and he's now behind 2-0 to Montalbano. And so this, for Vega, could be a tough situation to get out of. Fly ball lifted to straightaway right field. Thumb has an easy play on it. Are they going to try to tag up? Yes, they are. No, it was just a bluff, and the throw made by Thumb over to the third baseman, Reynoso. So that's the first out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Pirates,
Number 28, Lex Kaplan.
we mentioned a couple of big rallies, one in the 6th and one in the 8th, got 3 in the 6th and 2 in the 8th. Do they have one more in them? Well, first of all, we're going to have to get out of this inning without giving up another run. But if they don't give up a run in this inning, you're only down by 4. And I say only because, in theory, when you're down by 4, one swing of the bats, cue shot past the third baseman, Reynoso. And just as I say that, a run's going to come home to score, and it's 10-5. So a double, an RBI double by Lex Kaplan. And scoring on the play was Bertsema. Meanwhile, advancing all the way over to third was Studdard. So tough right there for the Pirates. As maybe we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, just feeling like after you got the first out, you still had runners on first and second, but there was one out. So you had to force anywhere on the bases, and also could have turned 2 to get out of the inning. And the ball was hit on the ground, but past Johnny Reynoso, there's no play he could make on it. So Pirates a little bit of tough luck there as it was hitting the left field for that base hit. But now Vega still with 2 runners in scoring position and 1 out, going to try to keep the Foresters off the board. Fouled out of play down the first base line. Meanwhile, it looks like Andrew Mattis was up in the pen because I see a left-handed pitcher up in the pen, and he was taking his warm-up throws and certainly looked to be a smaller left-handed pitcher. And Mattis is not the largest in stature for sure. Ground ball right side past Vega. Vega is going to keep running to the bag. A run's going to come home to score. Meanwhile, Varela is going to make the throw to third, and they got a man in a rundown, and nobody's covering third base, and nobody's covering second either. And so both runners are going to be safe. So Varela made the great play to third to catch the guy off the bag, and then can't execute on a rundown to be able to tag the guy. And in the process, the runner ends up going to second. And the Foresters score another run here. So 11-5 is now the score. And we still have the same situation, and that's it. Vega's done as Charlie Reynoso has motioned to his bullpen for what we believe to be Mattis. As we said, did see Mattis warming up, although it looked like there were a couple guys up in the pen. In fact, there's another guy up in the pen already behind Mattis, if it is, in fact, Andrew who comes in. And that is exactly who it'll be when we return on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Give up forever to touch you, 'cause I know that you feel me somehow. You're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be, and I don't wanna go home right now. And all I can taste is this pain, and all I can breathe is your light. Sooner or later it's over. I just don't want to miss you. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. When everything's meant to be broken, I just want you to know who I am. And you can't fight the tears that ain't coming. Oh, the moment of truth in your lies. When everything feels like the movies. Yeah, you bleed just to know you're alive. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am.
And welcome back. It is, in fact, Andrew Mattis who will be the new pitcher here for the Inland Valley Pirates. Meanwhile, Caleb Denny is a pinch hitter in this spot. So Caleb Denny on for Troy Conyers. Mattis delivers. Foul back at the screen, 0-1 the count. Andrew Mattis, 5'11", 160. Left-handed pitcher, pitches for Mount Sac, where he will be a sophomore next year. Hometown of Chino, and went to Don Lugo High School. Mattis pitched well this week, earlier in the week, as got off to a tough start earlier in the season, but has done better as of late. Fly ball, shallow center field. Varelick's calling for it and makes the grab 10 feet behind the bag at second base. That'll be the second out of the inning. So the second out of the inning here for the Pirates, as 2 runs have already scored, and it's 11-5 now. And really, Pirates had they kept it to 9-5, you felt like there was maybe a chance to try to come back in the 9th inning, but once it's back down to a 6-run game, going to be a little bit tough, especially with 2 runners still in scoring position here. This is Mattis trying to get out of this jam after inheriting a couple of base runners. This is Boswell. Boswell is 0 for 3, did walk and score back in the 2nd inning. Well, Andrew Mattis this season, 16 2/3 innings tossed, 5.40 ERA, 1.56 WHIP. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. 1-1 the count with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Mattis this season actually 2-0 overall in terms of his record, and 14 strikeouts in those 16 2/3 innings as well. So, I mean, Mattis, he's been solid for the Pirates. As we mentioned, really struggled towards the beginning of the season, but has come on strong as of late. And certainly that's something that you like to see if you're a Pirate fan. Andrew Mattis at Mount Sac was a all South Coast Conference selection. Swing and a miss, strike two, 2-2 the count. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of 8. 11-5 is the Santa Barbara Foresters lead. Pirates trying to just not give up any more runs, trying to get out of this inning after only allowing 2. And then we'll go back to work in the top half of the 9th inning. Mattis checking the runner at second. Nobody holding on. Breaking pitch low and away. Ball 3. Full count to Brett Boswell. Well, the Pirates are going to really, offensively, I think they're going to feel more or less good about what happened here today against, as we mentioned, such a good team. But pitching-wise, swing and a miss, strike 3, down he goes. Just as I say that, pitching-wise, Mattis strikes somebody out. But pitching-wise and defensive-wise, I mean, giving up 11 runs is too many, even when you are playing a team like this. I mean, let's be realistic. If you give up 11 runs in a game, more often than not, you're not going to win. And so that'll do it for the 8th inning. And at the end of 8, the new score, 11-5, Foresters leading the Pirates. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. She took the midnight train going anywhere. Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. He took the midnight train going anywhere. A singer in a smoky room, a smell of wine and cheap perfume. For a smile they can share the night. It goes on and on and on and on. Strangers waiting, looking down the boulevard. Their shadows searching in the night. Streetlights,
And welcome back as we head to the top of the 9th inning. Pirates down their final at bat, trailing by 6 runs. 11-5 is the score. Justin Gomez at the dish, followed by Johnny Reynoso. Takes strike 1, 0-1 the count, and then Jake Thumb in the hole. Well, 11-5 as we mentioned the score. This one's called a strike, and it's 0-2. New pitcher Dylan Bine here for the Foresters, a right-handed pitcher, 6'4", 208 from Texas State, where he is a junior. Have a number of Texas State players on this team. Here's the pitch. Low and away, ball 2, 2-2 the count to Gomez. Gomez in this game is 2 for 3. Also walked and scored a run for the Pirates. Here's the pitch. Foul back and out of play into that adjacent parking lot, and it remains 2-2 here for Gomez. Gomez, Reynoso, Thumb. Pirates will be right back at it tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Pretty, I would say, bright and early for the Pirates. Certainly the earliest game that the Pirates have played this season. Although the Bucks took part in a 10 a.m. game earlier this year, which ended up being altogether an Inland Valley baseball tripleheader. Swing and a miss, strike 3, down goes Gomez. First out here, top of the 9th inning. So Gomez will finish 2 for 4 on the day with the walk and the run scored. And here's Johnny Reynoso. Johnny Reynoso is 1 for 4. Singleton scored in the 6th inning. So Reynoso looking for his second hit of the day. Here's a pitch. Fly ball. Another high fly ball into shallow right field, called for by the second baseman Boswell, who makes the grab for the second out. So 2 up and 2 down here for Bine, who came in as, I guess you'd say, the closer here in the 9th inning, even though it's a 6-run score. This is Jake Thumb. Thumb is 1 for 4 and actually scored 2 runs in the game, as he singled and scored in the 6th and reached on an error and scored in the 8th. Okay, the windup, here's the pitch. Swung at, foul, and it's 0-1 to Jake Thumb. So as we were mentioning, the Pirates will be right back at it tomorrow at 12 o'clock, and we'll have that game live on our air on inlandvalleybaseball.com. Dave Silveira, so glad that you could join us for this one, as well as the 2 to come, both of which will be at 12 o'clock the next 2 days. Here's the pitch. Inside, ball. 1-1 the count. So the Pirates will take on Conejo Oaks tomorrow at 12. And then they will face the South Bay Saints on Saturday at 12. Fly ball down the right field line, foul, and it's 1-2. So the Pirates down to their final strike here, as it's 1-2 with 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning. Bine trying to give the Foresters their first win in this tournament. Meanwhile, Thumb trying to keep the Pirates alive for at least one more batter. Fouls this one down the third base line, and we'll do it again. Another 1-2 pitch to come here to Jake Thumb. Jake Thumb reaches base. Nick Marshall, he's on deck. Here's the pitch. Ground ball, 1 hopper to the hot corner. Third baseman Holland over to first, and that's it. And so the game is over. Pirates are defeated in their first game in the California Cup tournament here at UC Santa Barbara by a score of 11-5. And we mentioned the hits. In the hit column, the Foresters end up having 1 more, but still just looking at the 13-12 in the hit column, shows you that the Pirates offensively, certainly that wasn't the problem. Problem was pitching and defense, and not necessarily defense even, just the walks, and really also a bunch of different things that could have gone their way one way or the other, and the Pirates just not able to cash in, as the Foresters will celebrate on their home mound, and the Pirates will head down the first base line to talk things over after losing in the first game of pool play. Well, it's not over for the Pirates, and it looks like the Pirates are going to actually shake hands with the Foresters now. It's you actually don't normally see that. The only time we've seen the Pirates pretty much shaking hands with players is at the end of a season series with the team in league. But I guess they're going to do that throughout maybe the entire tournament. But like I said, it's going to be tough to come back losing by 6 runs, because I'm sure that you can come back in the sense that if you win your final 2, you can come back if nobody ends up 3-0 in league play. The problem is, from what I've seen, it'll be tough to beat the Foresters. But should somebody beat the Foresters and the Pirates do go 2-1, they still have a chance to perhaps make the championship on Sunday. And so that's what happens in pool play. It's not single elimination, nor is it even double elimination. And so they will play 3 games, no matter what the result is tomorrow as well. We mentioned next broadcast is tomorrow. Pirates taking on Conejo Oaks at 12, followed by another broadcast on Saturday. A 4th of July matinee. Saturday against the South Bay Saints. Once again at 12 o'clock here at UC Santa Barbara. Foresters increased their record to 21-3. Pirates now 11-10-1 on the season. And that'll do it here from UCSB. Thank you so much for joining us. Dave Soberai, as always, saying see you next time, which is tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Once again, just a reminder of the final score of this one, 11-5. The Pirates fall to the Foresters.